Fox Sports.
We are the Fourth. We are the West.
How does it feel to reach the mountaintop, only to watch your opponent claim the ultimate prize? In 2011, the Rangers were one strike away from the first World Series title in franchise history. But fate smiled on their opponents. The Indians felt that pain last season, forcing extra innings in Game 7 of the World Series. But Cleveland's misery was extended, while Chicago's curse was broken. Two franchises who have endured the biggest heartbreak in baseball, but remain undaunted in their quest. To find redemption, they'll have to first conquer each other.
You're watching Rangers baseball presented by AT&T, and we welcome you to Cleveland and Progressive Field, site of tonight's contest, the first of four between the Rangers and the Indians. Rangers been playing some good baseball lately. Last 5 series, well, an 11-5 record. They've won 3 straight series on the road. And for Mike Napoli, a welcome back to Cleveland. He will get his World Series ring tonight. Hello again, everybody. Welcome in. I'm Dave Raymond with C.J. Nikowski. Great to be with you tonight for the opener of this series against the Cleveland Indians. Among all the things we just mentioned, the big news today, Cole Hamels back in the rotation and starting tonight.
Very good news. And for Rangers fans now, they've been waiting for this for a little while, and now they have their second ace back. When you look at Cole Hamels and who he has been since he's gotten here as a Ranger, he has been fantastic. This will be his 50th start, and be going for his 25th win, a pretty unbelievable ratio. The ERA has been fantastic, but what becomes so important for the Rangers is when you have Darvish and Cole Hamels, you have legitimate dual aces. That is such a big deal to be able to throw these guys out there back to back and at the top of your rotation. So Cole Hamels, only the 5 starts, of course, dealing with the injury, but he is back now, and the Rangers are certainly very excited to be able to pencil him in tonight.
All right, so Hamels back in the rotation. That's big news. Cleveland now, listen, great team last year, got to the World Series, came this close to winning the World Series. It hasn't been as easy a journey this year for them.
They've had to work a little bit harder, but the expectations have also changed here in Cleveland. You go back to the beginning of last year, I don't think they were necessarily expecting to win 94 games, but they did, and they found themselves oh so close to winning the World Series. Now all of a sudden this year, a little bit of a slower start, and it's actually a disappointment to be only 4 games over 500 and in second place. Now they probably still have the best roster in this division, and that includes the back of the bullpen. This is as good as it gets, and it starts with Shaw with the good cutter. You see it there. He's going to use it often. Then it's a different look. The fastball slider combination from the dominant Andrew Miller. Then they close things out with Cody Allen. He's a fastball curveball guy. So they do it different ways, but all plus arms. That bullpen has been so good. You turn it over to them with a lead, they're most likely closing it out.
Yeah, so this will be a big series, the first of 4 tonight. Rangers coming off a series win in New York. Elvis Andrus, huge in that series, both with his legs, his ability to drive in runs. And guess what? He has owned Cleveland in his career. We'll get more into that when we come back. Well, it is a beautiful night here in Cleveland as we prepare for the opening game in a long 4-game series. We're in the middle of this road trip. Rangers and the Indians. Mentioned as we're going to break, Elvis Andrus has been awesome playing here.
You get in certain places where you're just comfortable. This has always been a pretty good hitter's ballpark, but Elvis Andrus is taking that to a different level. And you look at what he has done here, the batting average better than any other active player. And it's a little bit of a short porch here in left field, but it's a high wall, and you don't necessarily look at Elvis Andrus as the pull power guy, but he has done very well here, likes hitting in this ballpark, so comfortable. A lot of times guys will tell you it's about the background as well, and just for whatever reason how well they see the baseball in certain parks. And for Elvis Andrus, Progressive Field is one of those places, so he must be thrilled that we are on this road trip right now and that we'll be here for 4 games. And he'll be going up against Carlos Carrasco, and this gets a little bit more difficult now. Carrasco's got a good fastball. You see the ERA since 2016 and where he ranks, but it's a good mid-90s fastball, and the secondary stuff is also very good. He knows how to strike hitters out. He's been very good with that over the course of his career, and he fills up the strike zone. It is plus command for Carlos Carrasco.
Okay, well, the task for him on the other side has been a red-hot Rangers offense, and it is up and down the lineup. We're putting the entire offense in the spotlight with Emily Jones when we come back. Internet. Visit AT&T.com/keep calm to learn more. And by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency.
Just about set for the opener of a 4-game set here at Progressive Field in Cleveland. Rangers and Indians game 1 coming your way shortly. Time for our Shiner Light Blonde Spotlight tonight, and we shine it on the entire Rangers offense, which in the last 10 days has been playing some very good baseball. When you look at the numbers, the American League leading in home runs and runs, all of course since the return of Adrian Beltre, Carlos Gomez, and Mike Napoli. That trio back in the lineup has made all the difference in the world. Jeff Bannister says it's because of their veteran presence. Regardless of the numbers, when they aren't in that lineup, it's an inexperienced lineup, relatively speaking. And so for those guys to be able to communicate what they're seeing at the plate, even if they're not tearing the cover off the ball, they're able to provide insight to those guys in the dugouts in between at-bats. Dave.
Yeah, this offense has just been spectacular lately as we take a look at our Southwest starting lineup for the Rangers. 38 wins, 37 losses, a game over 500 coming into play today. Chew at the top. The news is no Mazzara back in the lineup. He missed the last 2 games after being hit in the forearm by Aroldis Chapman. He's back in there ready to go today. Napoli and Gallo with some pop at the bottom of this order, DH and first base respectively. That is a lineup where we talk about Napoli and Gallo at the bottom with good power. Chew has it at the top of the order, and he hits this ball hard out to right center field and off the base of the fence. He's going to try for 2. The throw back into the middle of the diamond, and he just got by it. And how about that for a leadoff double? Woo.
Well, if this throw was on line, Chew certainly would have been out, but what a great and creative slide by him as he's able ultimately to avoid the tag. He jumps on the first pitch that he sees, and this is something that the Rangers have done well. At times they pick their spots where they try to get aggressive early in the count. I think Carrasco probably thinking that Chew might be taking a pitch, and you see the slide working around the attempted tag from Francisco Lindor. It's a nice shot by Chew. Not the prettiest, but doesn't matter. He makes it happen, and this is a little bit of an issue for Carrasco, who's got a .344 batting average against on the first pitch. And that number just went up.
We've seen him do that a few times this year. Just come out and ambush a guy. And that was a great swing and a big shot to the power alley in right field. And now Carrasco coming in with a strike to Elvis Andrus. Elvis trying to make it an 8-game hitting streak now. A .341 on base, the number, of course, you concern yourself with. Chew inching off second. 1-1. Now Andrus, he was big in the series in New York. Batted in the 3-hole the last 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. Combined for 3 hits in the last 2 games. A walk in there as well, and that one catches a corner, 1-2.
You saw that shift right there too that the Indians are using against Elvis Andrus. Kind of interesting that they're leaving the left side of the infield open, having Francisco Lindor keep Chew close at second base. Now that could give away a little bit the game plan as far as how Carlos Carrasco is going to be working Elvis Andrus. We have seen him take the ball to right field at times when the ball has been away. Right, we saw it, of course, in New York, where he did a really nice job, and he's done that pretty consistently. But I don't know if I love necessarily leaving that left side open.
2-2, and Perez had a little trouble finding it there for a moment. Chew holds second base though. Count stays 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I think Elvis is such a smart hitter. There's certain guys that will fall into habits. He's okay, you know, I can put the shift on this guy because he hits the ball there pretty regularly. Well, the times that we've seen Elvis go to right field or even hit those ground balls to the right side, it's usually when the right side is open. So I don't know, the idea of leaving the left side of the infield open, I feel like if he gets the right pitch, he can do a pretty good job of poking it through the infield.
Shoots this one down the first baseline foul. It stays 2-2. And a good job of working Carrasco here with this first inning. You know, Chew jumped on that first pitch. Now Andrus seems to have taken kind of the leadoff responsibility of working a count and seeing some pitches, allowing the other guys to see a little bit of Carrasco's stuff here in the first inning onto himself. He's done a nice job of it. This will be the 6th pitch of this at bat. And it runs it full. Carrasco 8 wins, 3 losses, a .299 earned run average, coming off a great start his last time out. And he's had a lot of them. Leads his team in wins. Runner leads again, and a payoff. That is outside. He has walked Andrus.
Let's take a look at the arsenal of Carlos Carrasco, and we've seen it already as he's worked a couple of hitters here. The good fastball 52% of the time, 94 miles an hour, but you start digging in at the secondary stuff and it's all pretty good. He splits it up pretty evenly between the curveball, the changeup, and the slider. And those have been pitches that opposing hitters have really struggled with. Struggled to hit the ball well. When he gets ahead, he's very good. When he gets to 2 strikes, the batting average has really dropped significantly. 104 against once he gets to 2 strike counts. This is a guy who knows how to put hitters away, but he was unable to do so against Elvis Andrus.
Yeah, really good at bat. Works the walk. So Choose at second, Andrus at first, and now here's Nomar Mazara. And he will watch the ball. Mazara took the last 2 games off just trying to get healthy.
Well, I was just mentioning the batting averages against the secondary pitches. And look at the curveball, 185, changeup, 077, the slider in there at 120 as well. He has not allowed a home run on an off-speed pitch all year. He's allowed 9 so far this season. They have all been on fastballs. And you see also the 2-seam fastball has been better than the 4. 4 has been an issue. 8 home runs against that 4-seam fastball, just 1 against the 2-seamer. But when he gets ahead in counts and he can use his off-speed stuff, he becomes very, very difficult to hit. And that's why I think it was smart of Chu to take that approach. Jump on the first fastball that you see, especially if it's a 4-seamer.
Well, already a lot of conversation out on the mound. Perez and Lindor went out there to talk things over with Carrasco. A double and a walk. Nomar's numbers, 10 home runs, and he was so good in that opening series this year back at Globe Life Park. Ahead here, 2-0. Carrasco started the 2nd game of the year. That was that Tuesday night back at Globe Life Park. Mazara hammers this one to the gap right center field. That one's going to roll for a while. 2 is in. Andrus stopped at third base on the double by Nomar Mazara. So the Rangers will settle for 1 run on the Mazara double, but they draw first blood tonight.
Well, good to see Nomar Mazara back in the lineup and get himself in a really good 2-0 count, and Carrasco was forced to throw a fastball in that spot. It was a 4-seamer as well. I just mentioned the high batting average against the 4-seam fastball, and Nomar Mazara now adds to that as he drills this ball into right field. You saw a pretty good jump there too by Elvis Andrus. He was thinking about scoring as soon as that ball was hit, but with nobody out and Carlos Carrasco struggling, Tony Beasley decided to go ahead and play it safe, not take any chances with Elvis Andrus at home. I think that's the right call. You got a guy in the ropes like this. You don't want to give him an out because it's the kind of thing that can really change the momentum for a good pitcher. You don't want to do him any favors.
Well, not to mention you have a pretty good hitter coming up. Beltre turned off the plate with ball 1. So Rangers continuing to get on the board early in games. 7 of the last 10 games they have scored at least 1 run in the first, a total of 16 first inning runs in that 10-game stretch. And it's 2-0 to Beltre. Beltre hit a 2-run homer yesterday in the first inning. That was off Michael Pineda in New York. It was his 3rd of the season. So Carrasco struggling a little bit in this first inning. It's 2-1. Now this was yesterday in the first inning for Beltre.
And going up against Michael Pineda, who the Rangers just hammered and knocked around these first 2 innings. And this was one of the big ones. The fastball that Pineda was trying to throw away sat in the middle of the plate, and it was a big home run for Adrian Beltre. And the Rangers had jumped out to a 7-0 lead. Got a little bit interesting when it was all said and done. They won that game by a score of 7-6. I'm not sure if you heard or not. That was the score, final score of the game, 7-6.
Yeah, that sounds about right. A swing and a miss by Beltre makes it 2-2.
Very good 7-6 game. Got a little dicey there. Matt Bush, though, finished things off very exciting. Went up against Aaron Judge, right? I mean, that's what you want to see at the end of a game. A very exciting game, but more importantly, a really good series for the Rangers in New York.
Well, and continued solid play on the road against division-leading teams. And we thought there might be a chance. Well, there was a chance, certainly, that the Indians would be leading their division coming into today. Beltre hits one high in the air, deep to left field, and it is gone. A 3-run homer for Beltre, and the first 4 Rangers have scored in the game. Wow.
This is amazing to see what the Rangers have done now in back-to-back games, and Adrian Beltre included here in the first inning. And Carlos Carrasco, even though as much as I talked about him being good with 2 strikes, he is going to catch a slider here. And you look at now hit number 2,966, and the chase for 3,000. But man, oh man, that was an absolute bomb here in Cleveland. Adrian Beltre got himself a slider. And I just said I'm all about being part of the jinx that Carlos Carrasco had not allowed a home run on anything but a fastball until now. You see that slider just hung there up and in. 2 strikes. Adrian Beltre got every bit of that ball.
Yeah, not much mystery when that one left the bat. 4-0 Rangers. There you see it, 449 home runs now for Beltre, ties him with Bagwell and Vladimir Guerrero, 39th all time. Well, here is Odor. The base is empty now, and he hits one sharply on the ground, but on one hop to Kipnis, who throws him out for the first out of the ball game.
So much going on here in the first inning. We haven't had time to show you the defense behind Carlos Carrasco. And there it is, Brandon Guyer just coming off the DL. And by the way, that defense is delivered to you by New Braunfels Convention and Visitors Bureau. Bradley Zimmer in center, Lonnie Chisenhall in right. Jose Ramirez having a really nice year at third base. Francisco Lindor, the great shortstop here for the Indians. Jason Kipnis, Carlos Santana, and it will be Roberto Perez behind the plate.
All right, so now Gomez. Carlos, who's been swinging as hot a bat, probably the hottest bat on this team. And he takes a strike. Gomez with hits in 7 of the 9 games since coming back off the disabled list. 6 home runs among them.
First inning, and you take a look at what Carlos Carrasco has done, and he has been pretty dominant until now. All those numbers will certainly go up a little bit.
Or a lot bit.
Not bit. Yeah, you figure he's got, I mean, how many starts has he made this year? This is 15th.
This is 15th.
Right, so
it's going to do some damage.
So how many innings does he have in this year?
Yeah,
it's got to be like 18 or 19, right? I'm not
probably
sure.
feels like it now. 1-2. And Gomez strikes out swinging, so 2 away. After the Beltre home run, a ground out and a strikeout for Carrasco. And it'll get Jonathan Lucroy to the plate. Now Lucroy greeted with some boos here, and that goes back to last year in July when the Indians had orchestrated a deal with Milwaukee to get Lucroy via trade, and Lucroy had the ability to decline the trade, and he did. Only then to have the Rangers come get him in a deal a couple of days later, and I think the fans here felt a little spurned.
Listen, it worked out for them in the end.
Sure.
Obviously, they went to the World Series. They had a 3-1 lead. Ultimately, could not close the deal against the Cubs. You know, Jonathan Lucroy made a very, very smart decision because he was concerned about this year. And once Yan Gomes came back, and Roberto Perez is a really good backup, a good receiver, he's out there tonight. I think he was concerned about where he was going to be playing his final year going into free agency. So it made perfect sense to decline that trade. And you look at Yan Gomes, and he's having a very nice year throwing. He's a very good catcher, and he's their guy too. It's the other thing. You bring in somebody new, that's fine, help us out this year. But he also had to be worried about whether they're going to try to either trade me at the end of 2016, or they're going to ask me to play first base, whatever it may be. So he easily made the right choice. You can't criticize him.
2 balls and 2 strikes on Lucroy. Four homers, 19 RBIs for Jonathan. Batting 7th tonight for the Rangers. And taps it down the third baseline, foul.
And if anything, I mean, probably the guy that was happiest about Roberto Perez got some good playing time down the stretch that he may not have gotten if Jonathan Lucroy was here. It worked out really well for him. He did an excellent job receiving. There was a lot made of that throughout the postseason and how he handled the pitching staff. I think all the way around that deal worked out well for him.
Stays 3-2. 4 runs in the first inning.
It's a good matchup here. Jonathan Lucroy is so good with 2 strikes. Carrasco, when he's on, is a good strikeout pitcher. We just saw him strike out Carlos Gomez. But Lucroy has an 8.9% strikeout rate. That is 4th best in Major League Baseball. He is really, really difficult to strike out. It does happen, of course, at times, but he's been one of the best in the game at putting the ball in play with 2 strikes.
And that one is called strike 3. Lucroy felt he had ball 4. But down looking, and that ends the inning. Rangers, though, with a very positive top of the first. Adrian Beltre in his chase for 3,000. Added one with some oomph. Four runs in the top of the first inning. Adrian Beltre with a 3-run homer. And now here come the Indians, 39 and 35. We take a look at their starting lineup. Francisco Lindor up at the top, along with Kipnis. You see 2 combined runs over the weekend against the Twins for this team. The guy to watch too, Bradley Zimmer there in that bottom spot of the order, one of their top prospects, really intriguing athlete.
Without a doubt, and they'll be going up against Cole Hamels, and certainly some good news. We're excited to see him back on the mound, such a big part of what the Rangers do. We'll take a look at Cole Hamels and the arsenal that he's featured so far this season. You see popping up here 50% fastballs, averaging around 93 miles an hour. And then, of course, 20% on the changeup, which is his go-to, which is usually a very good pitcher. And the cutter has actually been very good this year. 174 batting average against that cutter in his 5 starts so far this season. And we'll see that curveball as well.
Lindor, 251 hitter. 14 home runs. Guy with some speed, guy who can handle the bat at the top of the order, but also a guy who can run into one and hit it a long way. The 2-1 pitch. That's ball 3. So you do have to be careful with him. Hamels walks him. We start the bottom of the first. So now what you want to do, especially after giving 4 runs in the top of the inning, puts the first man on.
All right, let's take a look at today's Rangers defense, and this is delivered to you by New Braunfels Convention and Visitors Bureau. Nomar Mazara, Carlos Gomez, and Chu in the outfield. Adrian Beltre, Elvis Andrus, Rougned Odor, and Joey Gallo. Welcome back. Right, a little bit of an issue there with the hamstring, but he seems to be okay in at first base tonight. And Jonathan Lucroy will be behind the plate, as he was so warmly welcomed here by the fans. Of course, it kills me when I start getting on the strikeout stuff and then he strikes out. I'm not a believer in the jinx. It does make me feel a little better.
Well, yeah, don't let it bring you down. I don't think it was your fault. Jason Kipnis, .233 batting average this year, and getting on at just a .286 clip. I was interested how many of these Indians hitters, their on-base percentages, like in the 200s. Guy like Roberto Perez in the order at .245. Brandon Guyer .237. And even Kipnis short of .290 for an on-base average. But he jumps ahead aggressively here, 3-0. So Lindor walked. And now 3 balls, no strikes to Kipnis.
Overall, a .331 on base percentage for the Indians. That is 10th best in Major League Baseball. But there have been some struggles here as of late, and especially, as you mentioned, over the weekend against the Twins.
Back-to-back walks. Kipnis heads down to first.
You worry a little bit. Cole Hamels threw the ball extremely well. We had highlighted his last start where he had thrown 71% strikes in his rehab start, and I think everybody got excited about that and thinking that he was locked in and ready to go, but obviously not feeling it so far here in Cleveland.
So is it oversimplifying things to say that maybe, just a difference in adrenaline when you're out on rehab, trying to get healthy, trying to make sure all the parts and pieces are where they're supposed to be, and then you get to the big league stage and maybe a little more adrenaline, and it takes a while to figure out how to corral that again.
Yeah, I mean, you usually expect it almost to go in the other direction where, we've talked about it a bunch, you don't get too worked up about bad rehab outings because the adrenaline is not there. Now, Cole, when I say this, he's not an emotional guy in a bad way. I think he's an emotional guy in a good way, where he's ultra competitive. He's been obviously highly successful over the course of his career. Doug Bocale's going to come out now. Just have a quick talk with him, make sure everything's okay. The one thing you want to make sure is that he's not feeling anything, right? Because the one thing you would worry about more with the adrenaline is if he finds himself overthrowing or if he retweaks anything in that oblique. So I think for Doug Bocale, just going out there and probably just checking in and making sure there's nothing there. Want to make sure he's 100% and nothing is resurfaced with that oblique.
Well, he's thrown 10 pitches in this first inning, only one of them so far for a strike. And you can make it 2 now. Is that one in there for a called strike on Ramirez? Hamels went on the disabled list April 30th. That right oblique strain. Was warming up for a start in Houston, and then right before the game just felt that tweak, could not go. And now the count 1-2 on Ramirez. Good numbers for the Indians' third baseman, 4th in the American League with that batting average. A very healthy .375 on base percentage. 2 men out there for him.
The Jose Ramirez story is actually very interesting. He was a shortstop, came up, struggled, and that's when the door opened. Not that it was going to be forced open anyway at some point for Francisco Lindor, but when Lindor came up, Jose Ramirez got moved off of shortstop, and they put him in left field to let it kind of put him at third, trying to figure out where they were going to put him. And all he did was hit. After that, he just started hitting like crazy, and he's really taken off since, and he's become one of their best players. They reward him with a contract extension, a nice team-friendly deal, and one that's looking really, really good right now. But he has been at third base, and he's a very good defender and a very good hitter.
And he smashes this one through into left field. That's a base hit, but they will go station to station. So they're loaded on the Ramirez single. Omar Mazara right there to get it back in quickly.
We'll see this here as Cole Hamels battled back, got himself in a good 2-strike count. Threw that ball down. I mentioned this is a very good hitter. And Jose Ramirez, you talked about the batting average, where he ranks right now in the game. You got to be careful with him. And Cole Hamels, he's feeling a little bit better. He's throwing a couple of strikes, but the fastball was one at 93 miles an hour that Jose Ramirez handled pretty well.
All right, and now the big hitter in this lineup, their designated hitter, Edwin Encarnacion. The base is loaded, nobody out, and he swings and misses at strike 1.
think Encarnacion was sitting dead red fastball there with the bases loaded. To see what he has done so far this year. A little bit of a slow start for him. But you see him now up to 17 home runs. Big offseason signing for the Cleveland Indians.
Setting up a double play depth up the middle, and that one really up and out. 1-1.
Encarnacion's been really good over the last couple of weeks. Last 14 games hitting .320, 5 home runs during that time. He has really heated up after a slow start.
It was a stunningly slow start for Encarnacion, but he has also come roaring back, as you point out. 1-2 the count. Take a look at the April and May numbers compared to what he has done in June.
Yeah, we see that trend a lot, right? Guys sign the big deal, they go to a new club, and maybe they put a little bit too much pressure on themselves, trying to do too much, whatever it may be. And luckily for him, he got it turned around pretty quickly.
The 1-2 from Hamels. And foul back again. The Indians just spent the weekend here at home playing the Minnesota Twins. They were swept in that series after what was a great road trip, and it looked like the Indians had finally figured things out, and they were going to be on their way to cruising to this division title. Then the Twins came in, swept them here. Cleveland was 1 for 23 with runners in scoring position in that series. Now they already have a hit today with a runner in scoring position. Just a moment ago, Jose Ramirez with that base hit. It did not score a run. The hit they had this weekend, it was a broken bat infield single. It did not score a run. So they've been on some hard times lately.
You see that there, that 3-game series against the Minnesota Twins. That's the battle right now in the American League Central.
Well, Encarnacion really making Hamels work here. Keeps the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Encarnacion has been very good with the bases loaded over his career. .322 hitter, 9 grand slams.
Lindor walked, he's at third. Kipnis walked, he's at second, and Ramirez had the base hit. Rangers got 4 in the first. The Indians batting in the 2-2 is high.
See Cole trying to elevate the fastball. He didn't want to go that high with it, but it was back-to-back changeups, and he thought maybe he could sneak the fastball by. This is a pretty big pitch, even though it's only the first inning. But so far, the way this game has gone, this could be a big one.
This will be his 22nd pitch of the inning. Still looking for that first out. Needs a ground ball in a big way. He gets a ground ball, but it's foul, and Lindor, a great job of leaping over the top of it. We had an interesting pitching matchup set for you, Hamels and Carlos Carrasco, but Carrasco knocked around at the top of the first. Hamels teetering on the edge right now, the 3-2. Got him looking. A delayed call from Pat Holberg, and Encarnacion strikes out looking for the first out of the inning. And that's a huge one for Cole Hamels.
No doubt a big one, and we saw the same kind of reaction from Holberg when Jonathan Lucroy struck out. Listen, that's a strike. Edwin Encarnacion knows that's a strike. He just kind of wishes it wasn't, but this is perfect execution of a 4-seam fastball. But it's a delayed kind of call, right? We can't hear him up here, and so we're only looking at the body language, and the same thing happened when Lucroy got called out in the top of the first inning to end that inning. So it's like there's a little pause in there. Did he walk? Did he strike out? No, he struck out.
So now Carlos Santana, and he bounces one third base. Picked by Beltre. He'll tag the runner, but only get one. Lindor able to come in from third base. And so the Indians are on the board. It's a 4-1 game. The good news for Hamels, 2 out now.
I think this is a smart choice here by Adrian Beltre. You see him get this ball. I don't know if they were going to be able to turn this. I think he knows it was unlikely that they were going to be able to turn it. So why not go ahead and take the lead runner instead of making it a first and third situation? Go ahead and clear third base. You don't have to worry about the wild pitch potentially scoring a run. So not surprisingly, a heads-up play by Adrian Beltre.
So the strikeout than the fielder's choice. And Hamels 1 man away from getting out of this inning with minimal damage done. And that 1 man, at least for the moment, is Brandon Guyer. Indians made a couple of roster moves today. One of them to bring Brandon Guyer onto their 25-man roster, and he is in there with a 182 batting average. It has been a struggle for him in just 21 games. Very low on base percentage.
He's got a little pop, though. You look at him as kind of a part-time player. Of course, spent those years with the Tampa Bay Rays and now here in Cleveland.
Bouncer third base. Beltre flags it. And the good throw ends the inning. So the Indians get just 1 out of it, and the bases loaded, nobody out. And now we go to the second, 4-1. Started tonight. And speaking of the way it started, American League Championship ring for Mike Napoli ceremony before the ball game today, and one everybody was really looking forward to. Terry Francona, you see the embrace, his glowing words for Mike Napoli this week. And Nap getting to show off just a little bit. That's pretty cool.
No doubt about it. Terry Francona loves having Mike Napoli on this club, and I'd done a couple of Indians games last year. Could not help but always talk about the presence that he had, how important he was to the clubhouse, and he liked the way that he played first base. He loved the way they ran the bases. Maybe 2 things that when you look at Mike Napoli, that's not the first thing you think about. When you think about the power, you think about the experience, but he loved having him. He told me a story about the offseason and Dustin Pedroia calling him in the offseason when Mike Napoli was still a free agent going into 2016 and said, "Tito, you want this guy. You are going to want this guy in your clubhouse. It's a difference maker. If you think you need something like that in Cleveland, he is your guy, man." And obviously with Terry Francona managing all those years in Boston, a good relationship with Dustin Pedroia, kind of really appreciated and trusted the recommendation, and they were thrilled with what they got. Mike struggled a little bit second half and into the postseason, but his effect was felt throughout the entire season.
2 balls and 2 strikes. So he leads off this second inning. It's funny just talking to people today here in Cleveland about this team and how they feel about things. They're 4 games over 500. They feel like the missing link has been Mike Napoli, and that if they had Napoli in that clubhouse still, I feel like this is a team that would have been rolling at this portion of the season, that the clubhouse atmosphere and environment is just a whole lot different without him.
It's so funny to hear that now. We hear more of that. Big story with the Astros, right? Bringing in Carlos Beltran, and Brian McCann, Josh Reddick, the influence of veteran players as this game has gotten younger and prospects get to the big leagues maybe a little bit quicker than they used to. The value of having good clubhouse guys that have been there, done that, experienced guys that can share their experiences with their teammates, but also they've been through failure too and help guys get through failure, which is just as much, I think, just as important as going through successes.
Watches strike 3. Napoli down looking. And that's how we start the second inning. Joey Gallo coming up, but first we check in again with Emily Jones.
Yeah, and in talking to Nap today about, his memories here from Cleveland, he didn't talk about the baseball, which is crazy. They went to a World Series, made it to a Game 7. He wanted to talk about the relationships they had built and what he was able to do for this team, the relationships that he made, the family that he gained. He talked about that more than even the baseball, and I think that speaks to why he's such a big deal in a clubhouse, not just on the baseball field.
Oh, and you saw it too today. So Mike Napoli was out early before the Cleveland Indians started hitting. Had a pair of shorts on, one guy after another, stopping by, not just saying, hey, what's up, but a legitimate, man, great to see you embrace, even though it was only 1 year. That's the kind of impact a player that digs in and really cares about his teammates can have. You don't forget that. Those are the things that you don't forget. Yes, you miss playing when you're done, but the relationships that you build, the time in the clubhouse, the camaraderie is what you miss the most when it's all said and done.
One out here. Joey Gallo batting 9th tonight. And jumps ahead 3-0, and Carrasco grooves one for strike 1.
Definitely want to be a little bit careful here about letting Carlos Carrasco get settled in. It's 3 strikeouts in a row right now for him, and he certainly has that ability. The Rangers did a nice job of jumping out front, but we'll make sure they keep some pressure here on Carlos Carrasco.
Well, that is the second walk he has issued in tonight's game. So Gallo at first, Chu coming up, and our power stats brought to you by Kubota. You can see 9.7 strikeouts per 9 innings. That's since 2014. In the American League, only 4 pitchers with a higher strikeout per 9 ratio.
He knows what he's doing, and a lot of it has to do with the secondary pitches. The fastball command, the walk rate has been excellent over the course of his career, especially lately. But then it's the ability to use those secondary pitches as well. When you know a guy has a pretty good fastball and can locate it, put you in swing mode a little bit. You don't want to wait around too long, and Carlos Carrasco has done that very well, especially over these last couple of years.
Gallo with a small lead, and Chu takes one in. 1-1 the count. Chu doubled in the first inning. First pitch he saw from Carrasco. 4 runs, 3 hits, and no errors for the Rangers. Gallo didn't have much of a lead there, but Carrasco checking on him nonetheless. Well, do it again. So help me out with that. When a guy is not taking a big lead, why, as a pitcher, are you continuing to throw over there if it certainly doesn't appear as if Gallo's trying to get that extra edge?
That's a good question, and Carlos Carrasco's done a pretty good job, as a lot of these pitchers have here in Cleveland. A lot of it has to do with the great throwers that they have, but it's just 1 stolen base. It's 6 caught stealing with Carlos Carrasco on the mound this year. That's 4th best in Major League Baseball. So even though Joey Gallo is not taking a big lead, I think it's more about setting that tone a little bit and letting him know he's not afraid to throw over. And remember too, the Rangers, and especially with guys like Chu and Elvis Andrus, they hit and run a pretty good amount. One of the most in the big league. So with Chu up and the right side open, that's probably something Carlos Carrasco is aware of. And if for some reason Joey Gallo got a little bit aggressive, maybe he thinks he can pick him off. But you should never, ever, ever get picked off on a hit and run. Ever. You're not stealing the base.
Chu shoots it to the left side out of play, and it's a full count. Well, continue to show no indication to want to be running here.
And I think Carrasco's not the greatest guy to hit and run against either. You know, maybe in a full count if you're worried about double plays. But because he's such a good such a tough guy to make contact against when he's on with the heavy strikeouts, and you got a great throwing catcher in Roberto Perez. Both of these guys throw the ball really well. Perez has thrown out 5 of 15. Gomes 15 of 33.
3-2, and that is in. So Chu draws the walk. Back-to-back free passes in this second inning. Hey, Rangers fans, download the Fox Sports Go app and take Rangers baseball with you wherever you go. If you can't catch the games on TV, you can stream them live on your mobile device with the Fox Sports Go app, presented by Hyundai. So Chu with the walk puts Gallo at second base, 1 out, and here's Elvis Andrus. Rangers got 4 in the first. Building a little bit here again in the second inning. We've seen the Rangers aggressive on the base pass at different times this season, and in particular when Andrus is up there with runners on, we have seen a lot of hit and run. Oftentimes it's Chu the man ahead of him, but now 2 men on the bases here. Part of the reasoning is they try to keep Elvis out of the double play, because that has been a problem for him. 1-1 the count. He's hit into 13 double plays. That is most in the American League.
Yeah, you mentioned those stolen bases. The Rangers coming to this one 67 stolen bases. That's the second most in the game. They've been very aggressive and they've been very successful. Jeff Bannister has used that well. I think he's used the hit and run very well this season also.
So 2-1 to Andrus. He walked in the first inning. Really good at bat against Carrasco, coming off the Chu double. And in some ways that walk really set up the entire inning. Mazzara would then double. Beltre hit the 3-run homer. This one belted out to left field. Geyer going back. He'll look up. Gone! Another home run. 3-run shot for Andrus. Rangers lead it 7-1.
Yeah, who loves hitting in Progressive Field? Elvis Andrus does. We showed you the 3 home runs that he has had in this ballpark in our open. We'll make it 4 now for Andrus, who was locked in this ballpark. I mean, listen, he's been good all year. Walk in the first inning that he had, but he has just been crushing this ballpark. Man, there's something about Cleveland, and you see him go out and take this 2-seam fastball and hook it. And that was a pitch that was away. Didn't really have a lot of run to it. Sits in the left field seats like it's nothing. How about this? Back-to-back nights now. As you see the Rangers with their nearly 2 home runs per game since June 7th. That's the 3rd best in Major League Baseball. But back-to-back games here now with the Rangers have put up 7 runs on the board pretty quickly against pretty good starting pitcher. We saw Michael Pineda have an off day yesterday, and now we're seeing Carlos Carrasco do the same.
And already activity in their bullpen as Man Otero begins to throw. Yeah, it was 3 runs in the first yesterday, 3 runs again in the second yesterday. The Rangers added a run in the 4th to get up 7-0. They've scored 7 already here, just 4 outs into the game. And Mazzara takes ball 1 from Carrasco. Nomar looked pretty good in his first at bat tonight. The forearm bothering him the last couple of days. I saw him yesterday, asked how it was feeling, and remember, he was hit by a pitch Friday night in New York by Aroldis Chapman, and it hit on the forearm, and he said, man, he got me right on the bone. And that thing smarted. So a couple of days off, steps right in and doubles his first time up. Now down on the count, 1-2.
Yeah, never a fun sentence to have to say, right? I got hit by a fastball that came out of the hand of Aroldis Chapman.
1-2. It's a little tight.
And I mentioned, of course, Carrasco usually very good with the command. Hasn't been there tonight. I also talked about Roberto Perez. He's such a good receiver. Does a really nice job. Soft hands, very quiet. But if you're missing by a lot, it doesn't matter. There's not too much a catcher can do for you. And we've seen Carrasco miss pretty badly tonight.
Well, he strikes out Mazzara. 4th strikeout tonight for him. We'll bring up Adrian Beltre.
And already in the 2nd inning, we have our AT&T high-speed replay, and we're going to go back to the 1st inning when Adrian Beltre got a pitch that was up, a slider that did not hit its spot down and away. It hung. Adrian Beltre gets himself a home run to left field here. His 4th of the season. His 2nd 1st inning home run in 2 days.
And Beltre takes a strike this time up. You look at his career RBIs, just 3 more to catch Mike Schmidt for 33rd all time. Beltre hits this ball hard out to the gap left center field. That one drops in for a base hit. Zimmer over to cut it off. Beltre going for 2, and he is in there barely again at second base. Well, that is twice tonight where the Rangers have gone into second on what I think you probably assume is a double, and Zimmer has made it very close both times.
He's got a good arm, and so now the Rangers know first it was Chu. And now it is Adrian Beltre, and that's a 2-seam fastball that was meant to be away on the outside corner, but Carrasco could not get it there. It came back over the middle of the plate. You see Adrian sliding that left foot in there, and Kipnis is trying to say, hey, I think he came off the bag, and they're going to look at this now.
So they will send this one back to New York. Either way, Beltre, that's 2,967, whether it's a single or a double. See what we can see. He's on the bag there, actually. I think he's fine.
Yeah, just whether or not
right.
Because he moved back at the end. Yeah. And now it's hard to see the space between his left toe. You can kind of see it there.
Well, you can see the space, but is the glove on him when there is that little space?
That's the question. Now here's the other thing. So he had hit the bag and then came off, right? I believe in these situations, and they did. They called him out. It should still be a double. Like he got there, then came off the bag, so he was safe and then out. Coming off the bag, but it'll go down as a single for Adrian Beltre.
And that is an odd way to end an inning. A 3-run homer by Elvis Andrus has added to the Rangers' damage early. It's a 7-1 lead. 1. Rangers with the lead, bottom third of the order coming for the Indians in this second inning. Lonnie Chisenhall to start things off, and Cole Hamels, who struggled a little bit with command in the first inning, delivers ball 1.
So good news, well, sort of good news. I mean, not great news, but that actually did go down as a double. That's good to see. That's the way it should have been.
Hard ground ball up the middle by Chisenhall, and he is on to start the second. Now you're talking about the Beltre double and then put out at second. And yeah, I'm with you.
It doesn't always happen this way, though.
Oh, rarely
Yeah,
happens.
where it happens where a guy gets to the bag safely, then comes off the bag. I feel like if you've reached it and then replay says you're out, then it was a double, then you came off the bag and you're out. I don't know. I mean, I guess that, I know, as I'm saying it out loud, I'm kind of saying, if you can't hold the bag, not an Adrian situation, but just in a slide situation, then maybe it really isn't a double. I don't know. But they gave him the double. Take it. Before he didn't come off the bag and get tagged out, but you'll take that double.
You seem like a man conflicted.
A little bit. As I start talking out loud, I'm like, well, you know what? If you don't hold the bag originally, then should it go down as an extra base hit? You just slide past the bag, right?
So this comes up in particular with stolen bases. Right? We see guys slide in, they have the base stolen, and then now with the benefit of replay, we can go back and say, oh, you know what? He kept the glove on him, and he did come off even just what looks like an infinitesimal amount. He's out. Okay. Well, I go back to the point that you can run through one base. Right? That's first base. It's cool. You can't run through second or third.
Yeah.
I guess you can run through home. 2-strike pitch. This one out to right field. Chu going back. Has room. Makes the catch. Chisenhall got a little past halfway to second, but returns one away. We'll debate this a little more. Hey, in the meantime, we want to invite you to get a jump on your Independence Day celebrations this year. And come on out to the ballpark on Monday, July 3rd. We're going to have a spectacular postgame fireworks show to get you in the mood for Independence Day the next day. Rangers and Red Sox, 7:05 first pitch. Tickets are available at TexasRangers.com, or you can call 972-RANGERS. All right, so Chisenhall at first base, 1 out, and here's Bradley Zimmer. And this guy has been a real great story for the Cleveland Indians, their top prospect, who has come up here and really done a fantastic job. You see the .293 average there a moment ago, .369 on base. Hitting for a little power.
He's done a nice job, and Baseball America had him second overall in the organization. Baseball Prospectus third, and go back and forth all you want. We know this. He's a top prospect in the organization. He's getting his opportunity here in the big leagues.
24 years old, from La Jolla, California. Big left-handed hitter. This one jumps away from Lucroy, but Chisenhall holds the bag.
And Zimmer's one of the handful of guys on this Indians team that have been swinging the bat extremely well. You go back to June 12th, which there have been 14 team games during that time. Even though they had a rough go of it over the weekend with the Minnesota Twins, you see Zimmer 368. Jose Ramirez just crushing it the last couple of weeks. And this is important because when you play a team and you have your meetings, one of the things you talk about is who's hot. Right? That's to say who's swinging the bat well. It's one thing to look at numbers the overall year, but who's been swinging the bat well lately? And those are the guys, as you saw that list there, that have been swinging the bat very well for the Indians.
And those numbers include what was a miserable offensive weekend here this weekend for them. This one hit hard up the middle, and that's a base hit. Zimmer is on. Chisenhall stops at second. 2 singles in the second inning for the Indians.
It's an impressive at bat for a young hitter who has limited experience, especially when you talk about going lefty on lefty and against a good lefty like Cole Hamels. But Zimmer has gotten it done in just 17 games this year when he's playing against lefties, hitting .273. So it tells you that he's got an idea and a plan of what he tries to do, and it's a really smart approach to try to take a good left-handed pitcher up the middle, and that's exactly what he did.
Couple of men on now as the lineup turns over. Here's Lindor, who walked in the first inning. And he fouls off strike one. Lindor, 251 average. Talked earlier about some of the power that he brings in that leadoff spot. Didn't get a whole lot really to see in that first at bat. Hamels just off the disabled list today, and this one fouled back. Hey, Cole had a little trouble for the first couple of hitters getting it over the plate. And so Lindor just accepted the walk. Now he's going to have to do a little bit more up there against one of the better left-handers in the game, who has settled in just a little bit. Indians have 3 early hits, but 1 run to show for it. The 0-2. One misses.
I mentioned Lindor did a nice job with that leadoff walk, but he has been struggling as of late. That was his last 25 games. We talked about the guys that were hot. Use Lindor as an example, a guy that he knows is a good hitter, but he said he was 192 over his last 25. Now he has been better hitting right-handed against left-handed pitching than he has against righties this year.
Well, he has been patient with Hamels. Count 2-2.
His last 25, 3 home runs. But you know what sticks out too is an encouraging sign when you look. Okay, batting average is one thing, doesn't look very good. When you see more walks than strikeouts, for a silver lining in what has been a rough go of it lately for Lindor, that's certainly one.
Well, All-Star last year and leading the voting this year. Lifts this one out to left center field, hanging up there for a while and tracked down by Gomez for the second out of the inning. So a deep fly ball by Lindor, but 2 gone now, and the runners have to hold. That'll bring up Kipnis.
Well, this is a good job by Cole Hamels, just getting Francisco Lindor out front enough. You see on the changeup that stayed up a little bit. With that little bit of speed differential, and you see how he pretty much uses every inch of the ballpark. But it's an 84-mile-an-hour changeup, and you're just trying to keep guys off balance. And Francisco Lindor was off balance just enough to keep that ball in the ballpark.
Hamels managed to strand a couple of runners in the first inning. Trying to do the same thing here as he misses to Kipnis. First inning, the Indians had the bases loaded, nobody out. And then he got a big strikeout of Encarnacion, and a couple of ground balls later, they've gotten out with just 1 run allowed. Kipnis hits this ball hard out toward right field. Chu several steps to his right and tucks it away. Inning done. Indians leave a couple more. We've played 2 all Rangers so far. Going to the third inning. They take a trip to Margaritaville Friday, July 7th. The Rangers hosting the Angels. We'll have a pregame tailgate party with live music and cold drinks. Margaritaville-inspired Rangers T-shirt as well for everybody. Postgame fireworks set to Jimmy Buffett's music after the game. Your tickets are available at TexasRangers.com/theme nights. All right, well, here we go to the third inning. Odor, Gomez, and Jonathan Lucroy. Rangers got 4 in the first, 3 in the second. Carrasco has already used 58 pitches in the first 2 innings. Well, gets the first one in there for a strike to Rugi.
Now, under normal circumstances, yeah, you'll always kind of like the idea of getting the starter out of the game. Getting into the bullpen here in Cleveland, not the most enjoyable thing. They have the best bullpen in baseball right now, certainly by ERA standards and a lot others as well. But it's a 4-game series, and so trying to get to Carlos Carrasco early. Dan Otero continues to throw in their bullpen. And he's actually a go-to guy. He's not necessarily just a straight long man. This is a guy that you can bring in some big situations. So if they have to go to him here in the third or even the fourth inning, it's a great start to this series. As you see Otero there, he's ready, he's warmed up. The more those guys have to throw, the better.
Well, he was warming up last inning. I mean, he's already expended some energy today out there. Hasn't even made it into the ball game, and it certainly would appear that he will be in this ball game in the earlier portions, unless some miracle Carrasco finds it and then goes on a very efficient tear here. And he strikes out Odor to start the third inning. So 1 away.
Now stepping in for
That is 5 strikeouts, by the way, for Carrasco. Our TXU Energy power player to watch, Carlos Gomez, 6 home runs, 16 RBIs since coming off the DL. He leads the American League in those categories in that time.
To say that he has been impact would be an understatement. So important in this lineup, the aggressiveness, the power. He's done a nice job defensively as well. It's been very nice to have Carlos Gomez back.
Taking a big swing at that one. Gomez struck out in the first inning, 0 for 1.
Choking up, trying to go the other way.
Yeah.
No. Never, never, ever. That's all right. That's Carlos, his game, and he does it well, and he's done it very well ever since he put on this Ranger uniform going back to last year.
I saw him taking that healthy cut at the first pitch. The Rangers have hit 33 home runs on the first pitch of an at-bat this year. Now, that is most in Major League Baseball. So they, as a group, have had that tendency of wanting to jump on a guy right away.
Go up one, right? Because Chu. Oh, no, I'm sorry. He did double. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Clean it up. Jimmy, Christmas.
This one popped up first base side. And
I got a score sheet right here. It says double.
Well,
look down on your score sheet. It says it right there. But listen, I think that's a good combination. That's why coming into this one, you kind of wondered a little bit. High batting average against Carlos Carrasco on the first pitch, right? A guy who throws a lot of strikes, but yet here come the Rangers, who are an aggressive team. And it's not just the power, but it's been the slugging that they've done, the damage that they've done on first pitches. And not a great combination, one that's worked out well here for the Rangers.
Now Gomez strikes out, 2 away. And gives us a chance to take a Chevy game break. Let's send it back to Dana Larson. All right, thanks, Dana. And I guess the question I have for you, CJ, is how many times are the Cubs going to walk Bryce Harper in that series?
Well, it was 4 games last year. They walked him 13 times. And if you go back and like looking at game logs and maybe the effect that had on Bryce Harper, after that series, he really struggled. It looked like he might have got a little impatient.
Lucroy sends the bat up into the seats. He got booed going into the at-bat and now getting booed again in the middle of the at-bat.
I mean, listen, if you're going to boo Jonathan Lucroy and act like you don't like him, then give him his bat back.
Yeah.
Right? Because he's got that awesome grip on that bat. But he went to the dugout right away. As you see him get out front, and it happens. And luckily that landed right in an empty seat. Always scary. Even when you see those bats sometimes go into the stands. More often than not, nobody gets hurt, no injury. Luckily that one landed right in an empty seat. And yeah, we're going to picturegram it right now.
1-1 pitch and a slow roller, third base. Long throw, Ramirez, and it's in time to complete a 1-2-3 inning for Carlos Carrasco. We'll go to the last of the third inning in Cleveland. Rangers leading by 6. Brought to you by T-Mobile, and Giancarlo Stanton is going to defend his home run derby championship at the All-Star game. Last year with a record 61 home runs. Chris Sale keeps striking people out. That's hardly news. Randall Grichuk, 478-foot home run last night. That is the longest by a Cardinal player at Busch 3, and an impressive one by Randall Grichuk.
Dude's got some pop. He went down to the minor leagues for a little while and he'd been struggling, but Randall Grichuk, when he is on, can hit the ball almost as hard as anybody in the game. It comes, of course, about can you do it consistently enough, and he certainly did hit that at bat. So you mentioned that Stanton's going.
Yep.
Everybody wants to know, is the Judge going to go? And he said he hasn't thought about it yet. Aaron Judge, obviously having a great season for the Yankees, but he is undecided. He said he's just focusing on the regular games right now. He certainly will be an all-star this year. I can't imagine he would not. It'd be fun to watch. I like to throw Gallo in there as well. I know he's hasn't really talked about it very much. I'm not sure if he is asked if he would participate. How about the three of those guys?
It would be pretty awesome. I mean,
in Miami, a little bit more of a challenge, but the new format of the Derby is great. It would be a lot of fun to watch.
3-1, and this one out to center field. Base hit for Jose Ramirez to start the third inning. All right, how about our showstopper from last night? Little tie-in. It is Randall Grichuk. Watch this. This is how you do it, CJ.
Oh, see, love pitcher reactions as much as I love bombs as he goes up in the third deck. If you're going to give it up, man, go ahead and give it up big. More frustrating, I think, when the guy squeaks one out, right? Feel like I barely got it, but it still counts. Like, if you're going to do it, do it.
Well, I'm kind of with you.
I guess that's how I feel now. Can't tell you that when I was throwing a baseball for a living, I actually felt that way.
Edwin Encarnacion swings and misses, but the pitch gets away, and Ramirez goes to second.
We've seen again now in a second straight at bat where Encarnacion has been aggressive early. He has gone hacking at off-speed pitches in the first pitch of the at bat. You see the frustration as well, and falls down in the dirt. I'm sure it'll go down as a wild pitch.
It did. Wild pitch. So Ramirez out there at second base. 1 strike pitch off the plate. Hamels definitely displayed a little frustration in the last at bat. It was the ball 2 call to Jose Ramirez. Felt like he had thrown a strike, didn't get the call from Pat Holberg. And it has been, I mean, look, both teams swinging a little bit here. We've seen a handful of walks already on both sides. And so it looks like the strike zone is a challenging one for pitchers tonight.
Yeah, 54%, a little bit low for Cole Hamels, and league average you're going to be sitting around 62-63% strikes. But overall this year, and obviously Cole Hamels' first start since late April, but he was only at 59% strikes for him, so he was a little bit below league average earlier this season when he was healthy. But the thing about it, I mean, it doesn't tell the whole story. It's not just about throwing strikes, but also your ability to get hitters into swing mode. He's got the great off-speed stuff. He'll use that fastball out of the zone intentionally to try to get guys to chase the changeup away or the breaking ball down, like we just saw Encarnacion on that first pitch.
1-2. And a bouncing ball. Shortstop Andrus will take care of Encarnacion. 1 away. So the Indians now tonight are 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position, continuing on their struggles from the weekend. Take a look at our progressive upcoming schedule. 3 more here in Cleveland. A day game on Thursday, and then it's off to Chicago. Southside action against the White Sox beginning Friday night. Carlos Santana drove in the lone Indians run to this point with a fielder's choice in the first inning. Average down to 221 now for Santana. I think that when we talk about this Cleveland Indians team, he's a guy sort of have to look at a little bit and say, well, they probably expected a little more from Carlos Santana in this first half. And I think had they gotten maybe more along the lines of what they had in recent years from him, I feel like they would be several steps ahead of where they are right now, which is a half game back of the Twins.
And I think they'll probably get most of what they were expected by the time the season is over. And this guy is so good at taking walks. He has had at least 90 walks in a season, every season going back to 2011. He's got 44 already this year. So even though the batting average is down, some of the power is down, only 9 home runs. He had 34 a year ago. He's getting on base not as much as he used to, but I gotta believe he'll have a strong second half.
Almost 2 balls and 2 strikes on him now.
Starting Friday, that'd be a good time. Starting Friday, be a good time for him to heat up. He's an interesting case too, right? I mean, they put him in the leadoff spot at times in the different parts of the order. He also has that kind of bat that could hit right in the middle of the lineup. It gives you the flexibility, of course, because he's a switch hitter. He's also a free agent at the end of the year.
It's this one up the middle. Odor is there. Gets it on a sliding stop. Throws out Santana. And there are 2 away. Well, that's a nice play. That ball smoked back up the middle.
Yeah, this ball was well struck, and you see Rougned Odor just 1 step to his right, but the smoothness, the one hopper catching it clean, bouncing up and knowing he's got plenty of time with Santana running. A very nice play and good defensive positioning as well, right? That's a big one. So important in today's game. The Rangers had Odor right where they wanted him. I mean, that makes such a difference, right? If you're playing just straight up, that's a base hit. You can run it first, you got to run in. There's only 1 out. Kills batting averages, but Certainly great for run prevention.
Well, now Brandon Guyer. So Hamels, he's dodged some bullets here early. He's allowed the 1 run, but has surrendered 4 hits, walked a couple. He's made the big pitches when he's needed them. That's 2-0 on Brandon Guyer.
I think we've seen a lot of that from the Ranger starters this year. Right? I mean, think about Martin Perez doing a lot of that this year. Yu Darvish doing a lot of that. Andrew Cashner. Even the days where maybe they haven't been feeling it, not at their best. They've done a very nice job this year. Runners in scoring position.
This one lined into center field. Base hit for Guyer. And it brings Jose Ramirez home. That's the first hit by an Indian in the last 4 games that has resulted in an RBI.
Well, I mentioned earlier that Brandon Guyer is a pretty good fastball hitter, and he got one to handle. Cole was trying to get this a little bit further away. Split the middle of the plate, and again, the approach of staying short and up the middle. That's why Brandon Guyer's in there, to hit left-handers.
Brings up Lonnie Chisenhall now with a man at first. Chisenhall singled in the 2nd inning. Left-handed hitter here, so yeah. You're right with Guyer. Activated from the 10-day disabled list today, and wanted to get him up so that he could bat against Hamels. A little bouncer first base, and Gallo tracks it down and leads Hamels to the bag to retire Chisenhall. Inning is done. Indians get a run back at 7-2. Saturday, July 8th, Rangers Angels. Never mind. Texas Rangers excited to bring you the first ever Game of Thrones theme night on Wednesday. Stay classy, San Diego. Wednesday, July 5th, the Rangers take on the Red Sox. This ticket comes with a limited edition House Minister bobblehead. Take a picture on the Iron Throne. Tickets must be purchased through TexasRangers.com/Game of Thrones. I'm Ron Burgundy. Yeah, boy. Here we go. Napoli, Gallo, and Chu. And it's 1-1. Napoli struck out in the 2nd inning. 0 for 1. The Rangers offense, though, clicking early again tonight, as has been the case recently, getting a lot of early offense. The key will be tonight, can they continue to add on? They lead by 5, and on the one hand you say, well, that's pretty good. But on the other hand, yesterday it led 7-0 and had to sweat it out to the very last pitch in a 7-6 victory in New York. And that seems to be a little bit of the story. They get out early, and sometimes it's enough, sometimes it's not. But a lot of times, well, let's just say there have been times this season where the run scoring seems to stop a little early, and you'd like it just to continue.
Yeah, I think you look at the 7, and you're certainly happy if you get 7 a game. But yeah, when it comes a little bit early, you start to get greedy, right? So, let's keep this thing going a little bit.
14, I'm afraid. Of course, one of the most incredible numbers that has emerged lately for this Cleveland team has been the importance of the score after the second inning. Ooh, Napoli thought he had ball 4, and that's not the first time we have seen that tonight. He strikes out looking to start the 4th inning.
Yeah, some frustration on the part of Mike Napoli on this pitch. He saw a lot of off speed in this at bat, and this one finishes what looked like a slider on the corner. Yeah, that's pretty close. I think the consistency of the corner calls, and you see Mike's frustrated with that one. He's got a pretty good idea of the strike zone, but I think we're, I don't want to say a wide zone, but I think the corners are just off of being called tonight.
Well, that is 7 strikeouts now for Carrasco. Gallo walked and scored in the second inning. And this ball hit in the air, deep center field. Back goes Zimmer. He looks up and it is gone. Gallo with a solo home run. It's the 3rd long ball by the Rangers tonight, and they have indeed added on.
You ask and you receive, Dave Raymond. And Joey Gallo with a bomb here in Cleveland to left center field. That's now 8 runs scored off of Carlos Carrasco, which ties a career high for him, and he's not going to get an opportunity to break it. This is a good job by Joey Gallo on a pitch that is away. Not trying to do too much, not trying to pull that ball, take it where it is pitched, and that is exactly what he did.
Well, impressive. His 20th home run of the year, and it chases Carrasco from the game. Indians into the pen. Year has added to this Rangers lead.
Take a look one more time at a breaking ball that just stayed over the middle of the plate, kind of outer half. It's a long way. It's a good sign from Joey Gallo when you see him driving the ball. We say this about all hitters, but certainly I think for him driving the ball the other way, important, just left to center field.
So now Dan Otero has come in out of the bullpen. How about that? 8 home runs in the last 3 games for this Rangers team. What a great road trip so far, in hopes that they can continue it the rest of this game tonight. 0-2 on Shin-Soo Choo.
And Otero is a guy that uses his fastball a lot. Doesn't necessarily overwhelm you with the velocity. As you see his numbers on the year, average right around 90 miles an hour. His fastball that he uses nearly 80% of the time. But it's a 2-seam fastball that gets a lot of ground balls. 61% ground ball rate. That's a big number.
Well, he gets a strikeout of Choo. 2 gone in this 4th inning. So I was mentioning earlier that one of the weirdest numbers that I've seen this year has to do with the score at the end of 2 games, or rather 2 innings in this ballpark. When the Indians trail at home after 2 innings, they are 1-13.
It's amazing. It's only the 2nd inning. Like you'd think, the offense has struggled at times, but they've also been very good at times.
Well, this ball hit well out to left field. Is it high enough? It is. It's gone. Andrus with another home run, his 2nd of the night. And the Rangers lead extends to 9-2.
I mean, listen, the Rangers would like to keep Elvis Andrus forever, as they should. But to ever go anywhere else to play, this might be the spot that he would want to do it. He has been so good in this ballpark. We had highlighted that he has the highest batting average in this ballpark of any opposing hitter. Came in hitting, what, 412 here? A couple of home runs. He had 3. Now he's got 5 home runs in this ballpark. He loves Cleveland.
Oh, yeah. Didn't waste any time. In fact, we talked about it earlier. That is the 34th home run the Rangers have hit on the first pitch of an at-bat.
That's coming into this game. That obviously now is going to go up with a 2-for-2 night and a couple of home runs. Some good hitters on that list. He jumps on a first pitch 2-seam fastball that just stayed elevated from Dan Otero. I mentioned that he's a good ground ball pitcher, but even the pitch that he struck out Choo on was up a little bit. Sinker ball pitchers live there, down.
Spins foul for Mazzara. 1-2 the count.
But it is amazing, as you were talking about, second career multi-home run game for Elvis Andrus. But we were talking about what an oddity it was that the Cleveland Indians are 1-13 and they're trailing after 2 at home. It's 2 innings in the game. It's not like 7. Like we use those. Sure. We use those stats a lot. We say, okay, well, once a team gets ahead, I'm sure they're crushing it late in the game, right? Because of the great bullpen that they have. They'll lead after the 7th, but the 2nd, they haven't been able to battle back from being down in the 2nd inning, but yet once the whole year.
It's a remarkable number. Yeah, when they're leading after 2, 9-1. So they've done a great job of holding whatever lead they've been able to get in the first couple of innings. 2-2 pitch. Little bouncer over to the right side. Santana feeds Otero. And they retire Nomar Mazara and the Rangers in the 4th. 2 more home runs in the 4th inning. Joey Gallo and Elvis Andrus. Rangers with a big lead. Rangers as we go to the bottom of the fourth inning. Elvis Andrus continuing to rake in this ballpark.
That's fun too, of course, that Adrian Beltre was on that list with him. A couple of guys left side of the infield here in Texas. Enjoys coming to Cleveland. How about that hit? It's hit safely in 31 of 32 games he has played here. You had to get him one of those Cleveland Rocks t-shirts or something.
So what a start tonight. Meanwhile, Cole Hamels with plenty of breathing room gets one in there to Roberto Perez, 8th place hitter, to start this fourth inning. Hamels has had to work around a lot of traffic early in this one. He's done a very good job of limiting damage. Allowed a run of the first inning, a run in the third. On the 5 hits and 2 walks that he has allowed. Big lefty's pitch off the plate, 2-1.
That's one of the pitches I think that Cole Hamels is having a little bit of an issue getting a feel for. That changeup that he uses so well, especially against right-handed hitters, is staying off the plate a little bit more, I think, than he has wanted.
Behind here, 3-1 to Perez, a guy who has struggled at the plate this year. Perez with the average below 170. 3-1. And this one shot past third. That's a base hit and down into that left field corner. Perez cruises to second, and he has a leadoff double in the fourth inning.
We'll see Jonathan Lucroy calling for this fastball in. It just slightly misses his spot. I can't get too worked up about that. Didn't miss it by much, but just enough to give Roberto Perez an opportunity to hit that ground ball right down the line. Let's kind of look at the changeups real quick, and Cole Hamels has been right around 53% strike, so 10% lower than he would like to be. But the changeup has only been thrown in the zone 39% of the time. So that changeup, and you can see by watching him, it's been a little bit of an issue. The feel for that pitch hasn't been there yet tonight.
1-0 to Bradley Zimmer. Zimmer, the rookie, and bounces this one second base. Odor throws him out, but Perez advances to third base, one away. And we'll go back to the top of the order and Francisco Lindor.
I remember earlier in the season, I believe Emily was talking about it with Elvis Andrus and him talking about going up against the other great shortstops in the league and saying, yeah, you know, I know that Lindor is getting all the attention right now, and Carlos Correa is getting all the attention, and Andrus Simmons for his glove, and Xander Bogaerts, all these great shortstops that we have in the American League. And say, you know what, yeah, when I go up against those guys, I want the eyes on me a little bit. I want to show it off, and he certainly has here tonight.
A chance to make a play here. Throws out his opposite number, but Roberto Perez comes in from third. So it's a 9-3 ball game on the RBI ground out by Lindor.
Elvis feeling a little frisky here. Watch as he fields this ball and looks home. He thought about it. He knows Perez is not a great runner, and he'd probably love to take an RBI away from Francisco Lindor, but he makes a smart play. And in a game like this, you absolutely go ahead and take the out at first base. He thought about it. He thought about trying to throw out Perez at home.
So the bases are empty now, and here's Jason Kipnis. Kipnis has walked and flied out. 0 for 1. One of just a couple of lefties in the lineup today. Lonnie Chisenhall, Bradley Zimmer in there against Hamels.
Hamels coming into this one, even though it's only been his 5 starts and they go back to April, was crushing lefties. 105 batting average against.
A pop up out into left field. And Mazzara is there. The inning is done, so the Indians will chip away for another run. We go to the 5th inning, 9-3 Texas. In fact, temperatures just below 70 degrees when we started play. And Adrian Beltre leading off this 5th inning. Rangers lead by 6. Beltre's had a pretty good day. If he'll take a 3-run homer and a double. Looking for a little bit more right there. 0-2.
Predict that you will have your jacket on before the night is over.
Is that right?
Yes.
Well, do you think it's going to get that cold?
No, but for you, it's going to.
Oh,
yeah, I
see.
You.
I'll just break down eventually.
Yeah.
Well, you might have something there.
It is a nice night. No humidity. It's been a nice break.
Count stays 0-2. So Beltre with 2 more hits in tonight's game, and keep a very close eye every day on that hit total for Adrian. 2,967 at the moment. 1 ball and 2 strikes. So closing in rapidly on the magic number of 3,000. Just outside 2-2. Dan Otero on a relief for Carlos Carrasco. Carrasco went 3 1/3 today before Joey Gallo finally knocked him out with a home run in the 4th. Carrasco allowed 8 of the 9 runs on the scoreboard, and now Beltre strikes out swinging, and that's how we begin the 5th inning.
You see the movement on that 2-seam fastball. When Otero left it up, he got hurt a little bit, but this is one that he keeps down. And check out the movement on this thing. You can see why he has such a high ground ball rate. Look how that thing ends up finishing. Even though they're trying to go away, as long as the ball is moving down, they're going to have some success. It's very difficult to get that baseball in the air.
Well, here's Odor 0-2. And this one off the handle, popped up third base side, long run. Ramirez, and he gets to it. And that's a frustrating at bat for Odor.
Fans, you know that the can't miss event of the summer is going to be hitting South Beach when baseball's biggest stars take the field for the MLB All-Star Game. It'll be July 11th, and it'll only be on Fox.
Well, 2 outs now. And here is Gomez, 0-2 with a couple of strikeouts, and took a pretty healthy rip at that one. Updated American League All-Star Game balloting results. Carlos Correa has taken over at shortstop. A little better than 1.6 million votes, knocking Lindor off his perch. 0-2 to Gomez. National League.
Gonna get Cody Bellinger in there.
Hayward hanging on.
I mean, I don't mean to pick on Jason Hayward, but he is not having an all-star caliber season. Cody Bellinger, despite the fact that he got called up in late April, is now leading the National League in home runs.
Otero's 1-2, and that one is outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Gomez, who struck out swinging in the first and did the same thing again in the 3rd inning. Those were against Carrasco. This is his first look at Dan Otero tonight. Holds up, and it's a full count.
That's a good job by Carlos. We just saw Adrian Beltre swing at that same pitch, a good 2-seam fastball, darting down and in. We know Carlos, of course, is a very aggressive hitter. That's a great take.
Otero's payoff, and that is ball 4. So Gomez draws the 2-out walk, gets Jonathan Lucroy to the plate.
Number 25, Jonathan Lucroy.
I mean, come on. One of those tired sets of boos going in all of sports. I'm going to throw it out there. Went to the World Series. Up 3-1. Worked out for everybody. Jonathan Lucroy does not dislike. He doesn't dislike Cleveland, the city, the fans, the ballpark. None of it. Made a decision that was, without a doubt, best for his career. It worked out great for the Rangers as well.
Well, he's 0 for 2 in tonight's game and hits this one up the middle. Lindor to his left and will underhand it to the bag, forcing out Gomez and ending the inning. We're halfway to the house tonight. Lots of offense early in this one.
Indians by a score of 9-3, and TCU fans, Fox Sports Southwest wants you to show your school spirit at a Texas Rangers game. Get discounted tickets for the Wednesday, July 5th game versus the Red Sox and a free Rangers cap in Horned Frog purple and white. Go to texasrangers.com/TCU for details.
Well, it'll be Jose Ramirez, Edwin Encarnacion, and Carlos Santana in this 5th inning. And this one line softly into left field. That's a base hit. Ramirez having himself a night. He's 3 for 3. Just beyond the reach of Elvis, Andrus.
And you see here a breaking ball that got in on him, but not quite enough. And you see Elvis try to go full extension as well. I mentioned Ramirez last year, I think, was highly underrated. I think the rest of the league and fans that watch this game nationally starting to catch on. They got to see him obviously in the postseason as well. And they had some good players here. They have good players here. And last year there were some impact players here, but you could have made a case for Jose Ramirez as a team MVP last year for the Cleveland Indians, going back and forth from third base to left field, doing whatever they asked him to do and hitting the entire way.
A little in on Edwin Encarnacion. There is some activity. Dario Alvarez picks up the baseball in the Rangers pen. Hamels only at 75 pitches now, and has done a pretty good job tonight of pitching around occasional spots of trouble. Behind now 2-0 to Edwin Encarnacion. Notably the first inning, his big trouble spot when he loaded the bases with nobody out. Gave up just 1 run.
Did a nice job. That could have been a disaster of an inning, and understanding how to control those situations. Cole Hamels, the veteran, knows that, and that was big. I mean, that could have really gone a different way. That strikeout of Edwin Encarnacion, 4th batter of the game, was a big one. Then the fielder's choice did a really nice job of not letting things get out of control in the first.
Well, behind in a big way right here to Encarnacion, the 3-0 pitch, and that's a strike. Hamels, we mentioned, back off the disabled list. Went on the DL at the end of April. Rested and rehabbed his way back in his first start since April. That one is high, ball 4. Encarnacion is aboard. All right, 2 men on. Carlos Santana coming up. Time for a Chevy game break. Let's send it back to Dana Larson.
Sitting down for the flag of first baseman, Carlos Santana.
All right, thanks, Dana.
A great pitching matchup there, by the way. You mentioned, we heard Dana talking about Chris Hale's got 8 strikeouts through 6 innings, but Berrios has been really good for the Minnesota Twins too. I think quietly he's done a really nice job. Should be Berrios is how you say it, right? Is it Berrios?
Yeah, Berrios.
Berrios, excuse me. Yeah, Berrios doing a nice job as well. He's had a really good year. One of their top prospect guys starting to figure it out, but good pitching matchup in Boston tonight.
Well, base hit and a walk to start this bottom of the 5th inning. Hamels to Carlos Santana, and he's right in there with strike 1. Well, Hamels coming off the disabled list today. The Rangers had to create a spot for him. They had to make room for him, and so Drew Robinson, after his big day yesterday in New York, was optioned back to AAA. This one a little bit in. 1-1 to Santana. What a great day for Drew Robinson yesterday, though. The rookie getting his first career big league hit, a home run in the 4th inning at Yankee Stadium. He'd come up again later in the game and double. Made some nice plays defensively. I get the sense we'll see him again in the not too distant future.
What a great day. Something he'll talk about for the rest of his life.
Bouncer, shortstop. Andrus charges, flips second 1, and that's the only one they'll get. Runners on the corners with 1 out. And let's check in with Emily.
Well, more on Drew Robinson. You know, Banny said it was a difficult conversation to have. Those are always challenging to send a guy back down, but because they're just delaying the major league experience. But he said when a guy has a game like Drew did yesterday, it actually makes it a little bit easier because it gives him something to build on, something to draw upon the next time he's in this situation. So a difficult situation, but definitely easier than if he would have gone over and struck out 3 times.
No doubt. I think it's a great point, Emily, because this game can really wear you out mentally, and you get sent down because you haven't performed, it weighs on you. It's hard to go back to the minor leagues and have the same confidence as you had before you got to the big leagues. So to have the big day that he had and then get sent down, yeah, it's still not. No matter what the situation is, you're never, oh yeah, great, I'm going to the minor leagues. Nobody's ever happy about it, but a little bit easier to swallow, I think, based on the situation and understanding the roster crunch at the Rangers are in.
I would think the adrenaline rush, the buzz would take a while to wear off regardless, man. I mean,
what a day.
That was a day.
In New York, big spot, defensively, offensively. And I thought maybe you weren't sure what was going on. Joey Gallo had to go get his hamstring checked out. And you mentioned, of course, Nomar Mazara hadn't played in a couple days after getting hit by that Chapman fastball. Now, both of those guys obviously ready to go in the lineup tonight. I thought if they weren't, that maybe the Rangers would consider going with one of the relievers instead, because they have 8 in the bullpen. But with both Joey Gallo and Nomar Mazara being perfectly healthy, it makes sense. And you also have to think about Cole Hamels coming off the DL. All right, seeing what's going to happen with the rest of the rotation this week, and maybe because there are no off days for a while, you have to go through some of your pitching. So you want to be a little bit deeper in the bullpen. Those are all the kind of things that go into that decision for Jeff Bannister and John Daniels.
Hamels gets one in for a strike to Geyer. 3-1 the count. Ramirez third, Santana at first. And there is ball 4, so they are loaded up.
The pitch count starts to climb now. 87. Cole Hamels threw 81 in that last rehab start. This is probably pretty close to the max, not just the count, but how he has gotten there. I know that Jeff Bannister would love to give Cole Hamels that opportunity to get out of this game, get out of this inning, leave with the lead, be in line for the win. And so nothing would make him happier right now on a routine ground ball early in the count.
Lonnie Chisenhall, 1 for 2. Last time rolled it over to the first base side. It was a slow roller. It resulted in an out at first base. Not the type of ground ball you'd love to see here. Now, Hamels did have a bases loaded situation in the first inning with nobody out. Navigated it pretty well. Here he has 1 out. And this one line foul. Whoa. Strike 2.
That's all it is. It sounded like Chisenhall broke his bat there. He did. He's getting a new one. Jonathan Lucroy out now to talk to Cole Hamels. Good spot, obviously ahead in the count 0-2, and talking about where you want to go here. Go for the strikeout, set something up, and it could be a conversation. Okay, let's go break the ball away. If it doesn't work out, then we'll come back with the fastball. That's always a nice combination for Cole. Or it could be let's go fastball in off the plate, then go to the breaking ball. Or something else. We'll find out here right now.
The 0-2. And that one fought off. Keep the at bat going.
So we did go fastball in. Now, like I said, it's not always a conversation about what you want to do just with that pitch, but maybe how you want to get to the next one after that. Now, it's still 0-2, so you're in a spot where you don't have to throw a strike. Shoot the corner, go in the dirt. Jonathan Lucroy has been blocking baseballs very well. Did a nice job in New York, especially with Gallo yesterday.
Another good job by Chisenhall to hook that one foul. No balls, 2 strikes.
Let's put together a good at bat here through just a few pitches so far. He's actually been very good. Chisenhall has against lefties. How about this? .333 batting average. It's only 27 at bats, but he does have a couple of home runs against lefties this year as well.
0-2. Ground ball slowly hit. Gallo will go to first. Hamels has to hurry. Everybody's safe. Ramirez scores. It's a 9-4 game. But the worst news there is that they were unable to get the out. That's an infield hit for Chisenhall. The inning will continue.
Such a tough break for Cole Hamels. He made a great pitch. He broke another one of Lonnie Chisenhall's bats, and he gets over, and Joey Gallo took a look at second base, and this is such a tough throw for a first baseman. You see that he has the glove up. Cole Hamels catches it, but you see Chisenhall just beating him to the bag. And that's going to be it for Cole Hamels.
So Hamels will not be able to get through this 5th inning. Jeff Bannister on his way out. There wasn't a visit earlier, so that is it. Hamels done a little early. 5-run Rangers lead as they dip into the bullpen. Here in the 5th inning. We were noticing there's Brad Mills. He's got the lineup card in his back pocket, and he has taken over the managerial duties today. Terry Francona left the ball game early, went up into the clubhouse with the he's sick, not feeling well, so he is no longer a part of this one. Mills, we saw him make the pitching change a little bit earlier. Now pitching change on the other side, this time for the Rangers, as Dario Alvarez has come on in relief.
And take a look at the pitch arsenal for Alvarez. Is pretty simple, 2-pitch pitcher, lots of sliders, 61%. That fastball at 39% sits right around 92 miles an hour. Check this out. This is a good number right here. Opponent's average versus the first batter faced. Now when you come in the middle of innings, just 150 for Dario Alvarez. That's important. And we get these guys out, and you look for guys that are good in those spots that are feeling good right away. Those are the guys that you're usually asking to put out some fires, and there's a small one here right now that Alvarez is dealing with.
Well, he needs a ground ball, and this is outside to Roberto Perez. Perez doubled his last time up, 1 for 2. Perez also a catcher, so you figure not a ton of speed, and he takes one for a strike. It's 1-1. If you could get him to hit one on the ground, you'd have just a little extra time to maybe get that double play.
Yeah, his 9-4 lead as well. The Rangers infield across the board playing deep, even at the corners, with the idea of trying to turn that double play.
1-1. Just missed outside. So a 4-run top of the first for the Rangers. They added 3 in the second, 2 more in the fourth. An offensive explosion in this one. But Cole Hamels allowed a run in the first, third, fourth, and fifth innings. The 2-1. And that is ball 3.
And Dario Alvarez comes into the situation inheriting 3 runners with the bases loaded. He's been 10 for 18 as far as stranding those runners. Pretty good job, 44%, and scored slightly above the league average, but this is a big spot for him right here.
Foul ball makes it a full count.
We mentioned how much he uses that slider. And the reason he uses that pitch the most, you look at the numbers, a .222 batting average against on the slider, but up over 400 on the fastball. 14 strikeouts for him. Of the 15 that he has this year have all come out slider. It is the go-to pitch.
Santana at third, Geyer at second, Chisenhall at first base for the Indians. 3-2 pitch. And he just walked in a run. Bases remain loaded. And brings up the rookie Bradley Zimmer.
Well, he went back to the slider after a couple of fastballs, hoping that Perez would be in swing mode. The ball ended up missing too much down and in. Perez lays off of it. Now Alvarez will start over here against Zimmer. I mentioned some pretty good numbers for Bradley Zimmer. You want to be careful here. The base hit against Cole Hamels up the middle.
Lucroy. That was interesting.
To start over, wants to make sure that Alvarez saw what he put down. Is he pointing to his eyes? Well, if you ever second guess what sign you're using, a lot of times you just, you know what, just double check, make sure we got this right.
Gets a strike on Zimmer.
Nice job by Lucroy. That was a missed spot. They were trying to go in. To go across, but he did a good job of keeping that ball in the zone.
Two runs across in the inning already. The one strike offering. Strike two call. And Alvarez nearing closer to a very big out. He needs two. Zimmer not an easy guy to double up despite his great size. 6'5", 220. He can move. And it's 1-2.
Look how far Jonathan Lucroy ended up after blocking that ball. He was pretty much squared up at the line in the right-hander's batter's box. Look at this thing getting out there and being a goalie. It's so good. I don't know if catchers believe that they go through hot and cold streaks of blocking balls, but he's been really good lately.
Alvarez to the plate, 1-2, and a ground ball hit sharply to short. Andrus to second, one. The relay won't be in time, but they get one out. Surrender a run. It's a 9-6 game.
Well, this was going to be a near impossible double play to turn for Elvis Andrus. He gave it everything he had. You're going to see him going to his right on this pitch that is away. But check this out. I mean, everything he had to try to get to this. The dive, the slide, the throw right on the mark, and not a lot that they could do, even if Joey Gallo picks that. Bradley Zimmer's doing it himself.
So now Lindor. All these runs, by the way, are the responsibility of Hamels. Chisenhall, the man at third, is also the responsibility of Cole Hamels. And Alvarez pins one on the outside corner to Lindor. Strike one. A tapper foul. And Lindor in a hole 0-2.
Every time you throw that slider down and in, you always run the risk when you swing at it of fouling it off your foot. Same thing with the right-handed slinger. Every time the ball is diving in that direction, and Lindor caught that right off of that left foot.
Everybody's straight away here with Lindor up there. He has walked, flied out, and grounded out. 2 away in this 5th inning. The 0-2. Poked up into the club level of seats down the right field line. Our good buddy Jared Sandler works on the radio side for the Rangers, pointing out this was the first time in Cole Hamels' career, we're talking pretty healthy career, that he has walked 4 or more and struck out 1 or fewer. At the 1 strikeout today, and those 4 walks, it was a struggle for him. The 0-2. This one lined up the middle, and that one threw into center field, a base hit. Odor just missed it. Chisenhall is in. Zimmer to third. Lindor drives in a run and makes it a 9-7 game in the 5th inning.
Francisco Lindor, even though he has been struggling as of late, and talked about his last 25 games and being under 200 with the batting average, is still a good hitter. Now you got yourself in a situation where you're way ahead in the count, and Alvarez leaves this slider over the plate and gives him an opportunity after he fouled off the fastball. And what you want to see is him bury the slider like he did earlier on that foul tip, one that finishes below the zone, but that caught way too much play for an 0-2 count. Alvarez knows it.
Boy, Doug Roquels had to spend a lot more time out on the mound by the 5th inning of this game than he would have ever imagined or wanted. Conversation done. And back into the dugout, the Rangers' 2nd-year pitching coach. Meanwhile, the book is closed on Cole Hamels. All 7 runs were his. Little insult to injury today for Cole Hamels.
We're not used to seeing the walks like that from him. I was doing a little research myself. Just the 4th time where he has walked 4 or more in less than 5 innings. Also did it once last year with the Rangers, and then a couple times with the Phillies in 2006 and 2014. So 4 walks or more in under 5 innings, certainly not something Cole Hamels has done very often. Just 4 times now in his career.
Fly ball center field. Gomez is back and makes the catch, and that ends the inning. A 9-batter 5th inning for the Indians. They played at 4, and we've got a game. Brought to you by Sonic Drive-In. Our jackpot today, $900 plus dinner for 2 at Sonic Drive-In. The Rangers are hitting for Martha Pauling of Arlington. So if a Ranger hits a home run, that's $900 for Martha. If a Ranger can hit a grand slam this inning, Martha will win $25,000. And the way things have gone tonight, 9-7 through 5 innings, nothing would surprise me. We have seen all kinds of offense here early. Mike Napoli leading off this 6th inning. Napoli 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. 1-1 from Otero, who came in to complete the 4th inning through a scoreless 5th. Rangers have been held scoreless in just 2 innings tonight. Carrasco was perfect in the 3rd, and then the Otero 5th inning.
And obviously for Brad Mills, who's now managing this team with Terry Francona out, he likes the idea of Otero facing Mike Napoli. See the good 2-seam fastball there that he locates down, but if he throws him one that he threw earlier, well, that sink wasn't quite there, and one that Elvis Andrus saw, he could get himself in a little bit of trouble.
Napoli, kind of interesting, batting 8th today as the designated hitter. This is 3rd at bat of the night. He led off the 2nd, he led off the 4th, and he's leading off the 6th. Not what you were anticipating when you slot him in that spot in the order. That stays 1 and 2.
Funny how that works sometimes. We talk about that a lot with your leadoff hitters and saying, okay, well, how many times is he actually going to lead off a game? And sometimes, depending on who you put 9th, maybe you're backing some guys up for that exact reason. You know, say you put a Delano Shields type sometimes 9th, even though he could lead off if Chu was leading off. You never know how many times it's really going to happen. Not surprisingly, it has been all 2-seam fastballs here from Otero to Mike Napoli. He's gotten a good look at them now. Otero locates it down with that one that he ran in on his hands. Actually going to try to go away. That's where he can get himself in a little bit of trouble. That backdoor sinker, righty on righty, you have to be perfect with it. That one ended up splitting the plate.
Count stays 2-2 on Napoli. 14 home runs this year for Napoli. Smashes this one on the ground into left field. That's a base hit, and so the Rangers have the lead man on in the 6th.
I mean, like a perfect leadoff hitter. 7-pitch at bat, and get yourself a base hit.
Yeah, that's right.
What's next? A stolen base?
Well, here comes Brad Mills. We pointed out earlier, acting manager tonight, and he has seen enough. Dan Otero is done, and the Indians back into their bullpen.
With America's pastime and head out to the ballpark when the Rangers take on the Boston Red Sox. That game will be at 7:05 p.m. Enjoy some 4th of July fireworks after the game. That will be presented by Honda, and tickets are available at TexasRangers.com. Boone Logan now into the game, the second lefty in this bullpen for Terry Francona, and now Brad Mills. You see the numbers there for him in his 33 games. But this is the guy, of course, that they use in that specialist role, and he's going to get Joey Gallo. Let's take a look at what Joey Gallo did back in the 4th inning, which is now looking like a pretty big home run. This is the one that knocked Carlos Carrasco out of the game. A curveball that hung over the plate, drilled it to left center field now. He'll have to do some battle here with the lefty, Boone Logan. And Logan's numbers against lefties have been good, not great for him. 244 batting average against. Does have 13 strikeouts to 4 walks, and he has allowed a home run to a lefty this season.
Well, he's the third pitcher tonight for the Indians, and his 1-0. That one's in there.
See him against first batter. Showed that earlier. Dario Alvarez at 276 opponent's average. Certainly a little bit higher than you want to see it, especially for him. I mean, he is a lefty specialist in and out of the game.
This one down the first baseline, just foul.
It's 33 games that I mentioned, but only 17 2/3 innings pitched. He has been a luxury here for the Cleveland Indians. We talked about that in the first series when the Indians came down to Arlington to open up the season. They had not been in that spot before where they could bring in a second lefty, give him $6.5 million to be their 4th, 5th best reliever.
Ooh, strike 3 called. Gallo down looking, 1 away in the 6th inning. So to the top of the order, Shin-Soo Choo. You look at what the lineup has been able to do so far tonight. Everybody but Odor, Gomez, and Lucroy in the hit column. Top of the order has been very productive. Choo and Elvis Andrus have combined to score 5 runs. And Logan dumps in a strike to Shin-Soo Choo, who 1 for 2 with a walk and the double.
That's 5 straight sliders by Boone Logan. He throws that pitch. Obviously, pick up on that pretty quickly, but much more than his fastball, 59% of the time. And he's got good velocity. See it at 94 miles an hour, so that when he does go to that fastball after throwing all those sliders, it looks even a little bit harder, right? The eyes get slowed down, the back gets slowed down on the slider, and fastball have a tendency to jump on these lefties a little bit quicker.
1 out, Napoli at first base. And he gets Choo to chase strike 3. Back-to-back strikeouts of the left-handed hitters. And here comes Brad Mills. And Mills already signaling to the bullpen, so he is going to match it up starting in the 6th. With the right-hander Andrus coming up, Mills into his pen.
Game summary, and we're going to highlight Elvis Andrus and the great night he has had already here. This is back in the second inning. 3-run home run for him, and then he doubles up. 4th inning solo shot, his 5th here at Progressive Field. Just 32 games and a big smile as always from Elvis Andrus, who just loves hitting here in Cleveland. He's going to get another opportunity to do that right now. We see the 2 home runs, the 4 RBIs. Adrian Beltre also added a home run of his own, a 3-run shot for him, also a double today. But you see that score now, 9-7, 17 hits already here, and we're not even through the top of the 6th inning.
Of the 4th pitcher of the night for the Indians is Brian Shaw. Gets Andrus to swing and miss.
Shaw is really kind of one of the big 3 arms that they have down there in this Cleveland Indians bullpen, and he is cutter heavy. Even though that one looked like a slider, it's more of a cutter. It's good velocity, about 88% of the time with one pitch.
Andrus fouls it off in a hole 0-2. Elvis having a great night. A walk, a home run, and a home run. Unbelievable. A career high, by the way. 9 home runs for Elvis.
Well, he is joining the party, right? We are seeing historic numbers around Major League Baseball when it comes to the home runs, and Elvis Andrus now in historic territory for himself.
Off the plate, 1-2 the count. Big curveball swung on and missed, and Andrus strikes out. 2 in the inning. Rangers leave a man. We go to the bottom of the 6th and a 2-run game.
Rangers still leading by a score of 9-7 here at Progressive Field. And it's been a long road back for Tanner Scheppers. He's been successful and effective since his return to the big leagues a couple of weeks ago. But he revealed just last week that he was diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder called Hashimoto's thyroiditis last year. It causes extreme fatigue, had to change his diet tremendously because of MLB rules. He was not approved to take certain medication. So it's been a long road back for Tanner trying to, manage that condition and at the same time try to get his body ready to play baseball at this level. So he said having the success that he's had early on has been extremely important for his confidence and his physical state, guys.
Yeah, it's really an interesting situation for him as his 1-0 pitch on the way. A little bit in. 2-0 the count on Jose Ramirez.
Take a look at the career numbers here for Tanner Scheppers, pitching now in his 179th big league game. But I mean, I don't know, my first thought when I hear Emily right there is how ridiculous is it that MLB's not going to approve the medication that is best for him in that situation?
Yeah, it's
guys get TUEs all the time. Therapeutic use exemptions. If you have a try that again. Pituitary gland situation, right? Guys have been, and then of course with the ADD, guys that are approved for things like Ritalin. I mean, I don't know. Obviously, there's going to be a little bit more to it, but when you first hear that, it seems a little silly to me.
Well, there's a walk to Jose Ramirez to start the 6th inning. Emily?
Yeah, and that's been part of the problem, part of the frustration for Tanner. So you go through an application process that it's apparently pretty rigorous and lengthy and involved. And so he went through the application process and then got denied. So now he's doing more research to try to figure out how he can modify the case that he presents in order to be approved to take certain medications. Right now, he's just treating it through his diet. He's gluten, dairy, and soy free. My first question was, what do you eat then? And he said a lot of rotisserie chicken. So he's kind of wading through this process as he goes and trying to figure out the best way to handle it for him.
Yeah, he told me that the application process takes like at least 6 months. He had to take 5 blood tests, passed 4 of them. The one test was just, you know, a little bit out of the range. One of the 5 blood tests over a 6-month span, and based on that, he was denied the ability or the right to use this medication. And so I said, well, can you reapply? I said, oh yeah, and I will. Have to wait a little bit of time, go through the petition process again, take five blood tests over a long span of time, and then wait to get the answer again. So it'll be close to another year before he'll have an opportunity for a positive answer to the problem. As this one fouled away, and count remains 0-2 on Edwin Encarnacion.
Yeah, on the surface, that seems absurd, right? I mean, obviously the length of time that it would take, and I guess, you know, my next question would be, okay, well, the medication that they're not going to approve him for, what effect would it really have on him as a baseball player? What are the realities of that? He's going to come in throwing 104 miles an hour.
Line drive into center field. That one drops in. Ramirez stops at second. A walk and a base hit to start this 6th inning for the Indians.
See this pitch, it stays up just a little bit. Encarnacion still caught it off the end of the bat, did enough to get the ball into the outfield. It was away, but slightly elevated, and Encarnacion takes that slider up the middle.
And now Brocail once again out to the mound, this time to have a word with Sheppers. This ball game tonight has that feel. I'm not sure exactly how I would describe it, except to say don't lead the game, because you have no idea what is next. So much offense going tonight.
After jumping out to a 9-2 lead, all of a sudden the Indians have found a way to get back in this thing. And just like that, they now have the potential go-ahead run. They don't play with nobody out.
So 2 men on, conversation done, and Sheppers goes after Carlos Santana. That one a little bit in. And you were no doubt part of a number of games where, you know, things could get out of hand one side or another. This is one where both teams are having a little bit of trouble getting guys out. But you know those games where a team just puts up crooked number after crooked number. Bouncer through into right field. That's a base hit. Ramirez around third. He'll score. The throw goes back to second. It's a 1-run game. 9-8 in the 6th inning.
Yeah, neither one of these balls, these last 2 base hits now, were hit particularly hard off of Tanner Sheppers. I mean, it's just kind of a bounding ground ball that finds a hole here on the right side, and you see a pitch that was down and ended up being in. He wanted it away, but it still wasn't hit very hard. Just hit in the perfect spot. And Encarnacion did not hit his very hard either. As you see Ramirez come around to score, and Jeff Bannister now making his way out to the mound. We'll see a new pitcher.
So another pitching change. This one for the Rangers. Shepherd's night, a short one, and both teams going to have to dig deep tonight. Actually, I'm dying to know what he is looking at, but I know what we're looking at. We're looking at a tight game, a one-run game, and a new pitcher, Alex Claudio, coming on. Now, Claudio, as we all know, has been the guy to come in and really settle things down. You talk about guys who have been critical to a bullpen. And what he has managed to do for this team this year really cannot be overstated.
I agree. I will tell you this too. Now, this is his third game in a row. He's already pitched now 3 of the last 4 days. He has become a favorite arm of Jeff Bannister, and understandably so. He has thrown the ball so well. Lefty, righty, doesn't matter, even though he comes from that sidearm angle, that lower arm angle. He's done a good job with righties using that changeup to neutralize them. There it is, right there. And so you'll see that consistently from Alex Claudio. As we mentioned earlier, too, Brandon Geyer is a hitter that they like having in there against lefties. So good matchup here.
Minute first and second, a run across, nobody out in the 6th inning.
Good job there. He's only allowed 30% of those to score. Well, sometimes you're in tough spots. It's a good stat, but sometimes can be misleading. Come in, run around third, nobody out. Not a lot you're going to be able to do about that.
Hard hit ball left field. That's a base hit into third base. Encarnacion, they'll stop him. So they're loaded up. A walk, 3 straight singles. The Indians just keep on coming. Lonnie Chisenhall, 2 hits tonight. One of them an infield hit. Infield hit with the bases loaded in the 5th. 1-run game. And this one shanked foul. Not a huge crowd on a Monday night, but not a bad crowd at all. And the way things started, you would, of course, have respected if they had just gone quiet, left the building and said to heck with it, because it was all Rangers early. Well, they're getting into it now as the rain starts to fall. That might have been what Andrus was looking at. Maybe he got hit by a couple of drops. Bouncer up the middle. And that one is through a base hit. It'll tie the game. Here comes Santana. That will give the Indians the lead. 2-run single by Chisenhall. And it's 10-9 Indians.
This is amazing to watch this Indians offense and what they have done tonight. It's not because of the 10 runs, but it's 13 hits. 12 of those hits have been singles, and you see the sidearm fastball delivery Claudio, and it's a ground ball that gets up the middle, but they have just kind of been peppering the baseball. A lot of ground balls that are getting through. The walks have also been a little bit of an issue here tonight for the Rangers. 6 walks, 12 singles. It's led to 10 runs.
Yeah, they all seem to be piling up all of a sudden. 4 runs in the 5th inning, 3 innings so far here in the 6th inning. Still nobody out. Geyer's at second, Chisenhall's at first. The corners are in as Perez shows bunt. An amazing turnaround for this Indians team, coming off a weekend when they were 1 for 23 with runners in scoring position. Tonight they started 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position. Since then, 6 hits and 11 at-bats. And it's 2-0 on Roberto Perez. All those with runners in scoring position. I mean, how do you get that many at-bats with runners in scoring position in one game? They had 23 this weekend, was remarkable. This is their 20th tonight.
They've had a ton of traffic on the bases, and the fact that they have those 7 hits speaks to the contact rate for them. This is a team that swings and misses just 21% of the time. That's the second best in baseball, second lowest. And so they put the ball in play. They don't strike out a lot. And we've seen some balls that have not been hit particularly hard, but just hit in the right spots.
Claudio just misses. It's 3-0. Perez 1 for 2 with a bases loaded walk tonight, and his 3 times to the plate. The 3-0 pitch, and he takes ball 4. They're loaded again. Mercy.
When you get these kind of innings, and whether you're the reliever, starter, start of the inning, whatever it may be, you're just searching for the out, right? Nobody out. You're sitting there saying, get one, find a way to get one. There's already 3 runs across. There's been 8 unanswered runs right now for the Cleveland Indians, but you're just searching, trying to stay away from the big one. It's already become a big inning with 3 runs in, but Alex Claudio just finding some way to stop the bleeding.
Well, the rookie Bradley Zimmer lifts this one back of second base. Odor out there quickly, signaling for it. And that is out number 1.
Surprised that wasn't called infield fly?
Well, it's interesting, and I've seen this twice now. After he caught it, 2 of the base umpires hold up their hands and point to the sky, infield fly. And
what's the point?
What is the point? If it's an infield fly, it's an infield fly. Just call it.
Yeah, I see. I was only watching the second base umpire the whole time. Obviously, he had the best look, and I didn't see a call here until after, I guess right as he was catching in all 3. But it's like, yeah, at that point,
yeah,
it's kind of late even for the base runners, like if he drops that ball in that situation.
And now a strike to Lindor. So the key, though, is an out recorded. Nobody able to advance, and now a ground ball, and Claudio could legitimately get out of the inning without any further damage done. Ground ball, shortstop, but it's too slow for 2. Andrus only played to first, and it pulls Gallo off the bag. Everybody is safe. Another run is in, and the bases remain loaded.
Just about everything going right for the Cleveland Indians offense, and this is another example. Weak contact, a dribbler on the infield with a good runner in Francisco Lindor, and that was Andrus did everything he possibly could, but there wasn't much he was going to be able to do here as he comes in, Catches it on the grass. A throw in the dirt. Nice job by Joey Gallo, by the way. That certainly wasn't an easy pick, and he did the right thing to just go ahead and do everything you had to do to catch that baseball as it came off the back. If that gets past him, it's at least one more run and maybe two.
Next pitch, lifted out to center field. Gomez is back, makes the catch. Everybody tags. The throw goes to third. The sac fly by Kipnis scores Chisenhall. The Indians up by 3. Now 2 away. And Jose Ramirez, the man who started the inning by walking, is at bat again. 12-9 Cleveland.
This is really amazing to see now. 10 unanswered from a team that was struggling offensively. We talked about the bad weekend that they had against the Minnesota Twins. And you see the great night that Jose Ramirez has already had at his 4 at-bats.
On
the flip side, too, we've already gone to Shaw. He's only thrown that 3rd inning. I'm assuming he'll be back out for the 7th, but this is where the Indians really excel. The great bullpen. You know, Andrew Miller is sitting down there. Always an issue.
Smiles for Brad Mills.
Cody Allen down there.
3-1. Well, Jose Ramirez, should he reach, gives way to Edwin Encarnacion. Just as soon avoid that. 2 away and a 3-1. Bouncer third base. Beltre will go to the bag. That will end the inning, but a 5-run 6th inning for the Indians. My oh my. We go to the 7th. The Texas Rangers want you to celebrate summer with Summer Ticket Days. You get seats in the Cholula all-you-can-eat porch for just $34. Log on to TexasRangers.com/specials and use the coupon code FSSW Summer. See you out there.
I just was talking about this Cleveland Indians bullpen and why they are so dangerous. Take a look at this. This goes back to 2003. Best bullpen ERAs during that time. Now the Indians here in 2017, 2.56, right around one of the best that we have seen in the past 15 seasons.
Well, 7th inning. Time left in this thing. And Lord knows the way base runners have accumulated on both sides and runs have been scored. We're a long way from being done. Omar Mazara, Adrian Beltre, Rougned Odor in this 7th inning. Mazara doubled in the 1st inning, scored a run, drove in a run. Another check swing. He did not go.
So I have a semantics question for you.
Okay.
Would you say that the Indians batted around twice in this game? They sent 9 batters to the plate. You don't say the 10th has to come up for it to be considered batting around.
No, I think you bat around when you send all 9 guys.
I'm with you. Not always the case for everybody. This is a highly debated topic a couple of years ago amongst baseball folks.
Well, chopper second base, and Mazara thrown out. He'll start the 7th inning, 1 away.
For the Rangers now hitting number 29, Adrian Beltre.
Fans, you got to make sure that you download the MLB.com app, and you have to do it today. Get Rangers home screen icons as well as game day highlights, radio broadcasts, StatCast news, and more. Make sure you download MLB.com app. I use that game day during the game. Keep it up the entire time. Get so many great options.
Well, bouncer third base, charging for it. Ramirez, his throw across the diamond in time to get Adrian Beltre, and very quickly 2 out in the 7th inning.
So the game day, I know you have your one screen open. So I forget what's that Candy Crush you're playing over there. So I go
Tetris.
Oh, my bad. Flip to the box score really quick. I love the live feed. Go back and look and kind of track pitches. And then you go to the other part of the feed where you can see all the StatCast data that comes across. Click on the field in case there's been some defensive changes. Everything I actually, my little guy prefers to watch the game day feed where you see the pitches come across, almost like it's in cartoon mode, than sometimes actually watching the game. Which also, if you don't the premium at bat, you can watch every game everywhere. It's fantastic. But he actually likes watching that pitch by pitch as it comes across, and you just see the animation of it coming across as opposed to actually watching the game live.
Because it looks like a video game, which is what the kids like to do.
MLB Advanced Media has killed it with this app. They've done an excellent job.
Well, it is, to my knowledge, it is the best app in the StatCast era.
I would believe that.
The 1-1. And it is outside, ball 2. Well, goof on the side. It is fantastic. Not a heavy rain, but a rain nonetheless. Started falling in the bottom of the 6th. Door foul tips that one. It's 2-2.
Which keeps my consecutive trips to Cleveland and a rain streak going.
Yeah, that was fun to walk in the booth with you today and have everybody groan. Oh, is it going to rain now?
A little worried about Thursday. Last game of the series. Numbers look a little high.
Odor pops this one out of play, and we'll do it again.
You were talking about the fans, and they've stuck around here a little bit. Looked discouraging early on. For the longest time here, a consecutive sellout streak that they had in Cleveland. This was an unbelievable place to come as a visitor. For me, playing those years in Detroit, every time you came to Cleveland, it was a sellout. You see the 455 consecutive sellouts they've had here at this ballpark. Back when it was the Jake.
I like it. I really do like this ballpark. I like the whole baseball setup here in Cleveland.
I'm with you. 1994, when this ballpark opened. It's still a great place to come visit. Great amenities, great ballpark.
Payoff pitch to Odor, and this one lifted out to left field. Geyer ranging over to his left, but it's Zimmer from center field who tracks it down for the final out of the 7th inning. We'll go to the last of the 7th. Fun times in Cleveland today. 12-9 our score. Cleveland, and tomorrow our AT&T matchup. Yeah, everybody's pointing over there. Andrus continuing to swing the bat well here in Cleveland especially, but overall. And then Francisco Lindor, a couple of great shortstops in the game going head to head. Coverage starts at 5:30 tomorrow Central Time. Our first pitch a little bit after 6 o'clock. Hope you'll join us for that one. Second game in what will be a 4-game series.
And Elvis will be up bright and early. He may just stay here. He loves this place so much, the way he has swung the bat in Cleveland.
There's no way he won't be in the lineup. That much is certain, as this ball popped up into right field and down the line, but Chu can't quite get to it. Strike one on Edwin Encarnacion. Preston Claiborne making his 2017 debut for the Rangers.
You see what he's done over the course of his career. Now this is a nice story as well. We've talked a lot about Austin Bibbins-Dirks and being a 32-year-old rookie. And Preston Claiborne had some time with the New York Yankees back in 2013 and 2014, but he has not pitched in the major league since. So for him to get back now, he's pitching very well down in AAA. But to see him back in the big leagues after a couple of years of being away, nice moment for him.
This one once again down that right field line, and it drops in a fair ball. Bangs up against the fence, and Encarnacion tiptoes into second with a leadoff double. Eighth of the year for him. He got off to a real slow start offensively, but he's been swinging it well lately.
Yeah, he has been, and he gets an off-speed pitch. It is up and away. We saw him foul that ball off to right field on the previous pitch, and he stays with that approach, trying to drive the ball the other way.
So again, the Indians not only with a runner on base, but a runner in scoring position. Carlos Santana takes strike one. Switch hitting first baseman. There's one hit today, but he has scored a couple of times, driven in 2 runs. 12 runs, 15 hits for Cleveland. 9 runs on 8 hits for the Rangers. And it is now 1-1 on Santana. So Preston Claiborne, the 4th pitcher out of the bullpen, 5th pitcher overall in tonight's game. Cole Hamels went 4 1/3 tonight. That's strike 2. Dario Alvarez got a couple outs. Tanner Scheppers gave up 3 runs and was unable to record an out. And then Alex Claudio fought his way through the rest of that 6th inning for him. Now it's up to Claiborne. Claiborne joined the Rangers on that last homestand, but this is the first action that he has got since joining the club, and just misses. 2-2.
You see good velocity there too at 95 miles an hour. He was killing it down in AAA, 2-0 record in his 26 games pitched out of the bullpen down there, where he was closing 13 of 14 save opportunities. But this is a good dotted fastball and a 1-2 count. Good velocity, but he had a 1.37 ERA in those 26 innings of work.
This ball hit well center field. Gomez angling back, and will have to take it off the wall. Into third base, Encarnacion, they're going to wave him. Here comes the relay throw, and it's offline. Heading to third base is Santana. 13-9 Cleveland. I think they had time to make a play on Encarnacion, but the relay throw was rushed a little bit, and Odor a little offline with it, and so no play.
That is exactly what happened here. Is you're going to see this ball off the bat of Carlos Santana, and it's going to short hop the wall. You'll see Gomez get to it and play it right. You got to play that high hop as it comes off, but here comes the relay to Rougned Odor, and I don't know if he got distracted because Santana was on second base and thought maybe there was a chance he was going to hit him. I'm not sure. The other part of that too is that Preston Claiborne should have been behind home plate on that ball. It was caught between second and third. How that usually starts out. Now there's going to be no play at third, right? But if you're wondering if there's a chance it was going to be a triple, you jog in between third base and home plate, and then you read the throw. And then once you realize there was going to be no play at third, it's your job as a pitcher to make sure you're backing up home, and kind of got caught in between.
Geyer now on a whole 0-2.
Take a look here. You see where Preston Claiborne is. He should actually at that point have already been gone. But yeah, you see the throw there. I don't know if there was just, did that ball slipped out of Odor's hand, or if he got a little cautious because of Santana standing on second base. Well, rain has been falling for a while now, where it's right. Light, so there's no doubt that there's going to be some moisture on the baseball.
Yeah, Santana got a double on that. Didn't get credit for the RBI, but at third, on Odor's error. 1-2. Struck him out swinging, got Geyer, and that is the first out of this 7th inning. All right, time for a Chevy game break. Let's send it back to Dana Larson. He's not careful. That's going to become kind of a mental place for Bryce Harper going to Wrigley. Strike one on Lonnie Chisenhall.
The catch that Dana was talking about, that was unbelievable. From Baez, long way to run, slid feet first near the base of the wall in Washington, and made a really nice catch. But maybe that's going to be Joe Madden's thing now, right, when it comes to Bryce Harper.
They worked on him last year. Man at third, one out. Infield in tight. They'll try and cut down Santana if they get a ground ball. Now it's 1-2 on Chisenhall.
And we know obviously that the Indians have been swinging the bat well here tonight. 13 runs, 16 hits. When you see a big swing like that in a 1-1 count, part of your job as a pitcher in this situation is to make sure you start getting these guys a little bit uncomfortable. You see Jonathan Lucroy going back inside.
No go on the check swing. Rob Drake down at third base. Says it's 2-2. Couple of doubles and a strikeout against Claiborne. The 2-2 pitch. And it's fouled off again. But I'll tell you one thing, the Indians, they have had a number of these at bats where down to 2 strikes. They have battled and fought, scrapped until finally getting something to hit.
Yeah, that goes back to just the entire lineup and this entire team and where they have been on swings and misses this year. So much of that going on in the game, but they're one of the best at putting the ball in play and making contact.
There's a strikeout of Chisenhall, and there are 2 away.
Well, good looking slider here, and that was the right way to go because Lonnie Chisenhall had some very comfortable swings against the fastball of Preston Claiborne. So you want to go off speed, get him off of the heater, and he did exactly that, got him way out front.
All right, so he's bounced back nicely in this inning. See what he does here with Roberto Perez. Walked his last 2 times up, also doubled tonight, and hits this ball pretty well center field. Gomez going back. That one is over his head. In from third to Santana. Perez goes to second. 3rd double in the inning for the Indians. And at times it seems like it just won't stop. 14-9.
Three extra base hits in this inning after we had talked about the Cleveland Indians with just a bunch of singles tonight, but now all of a sudden it's changing here a little bit, and they're starting to drive the ball. It's 4 extra base hits still out of the 17. 13 singles still tonight.
So Zimmer, he takes a ball. Zimmer is singled, driven in a run on a fielder's choice, grounded out, popped out. And it's 1-1. It's another at bat right here for the Indians with a runner in scoring position. And I don't know, CJ, it has been a while since I have seen these kind of numbers. 10 for 26 with runners in scoring position tonight.
Lots of traffic in this game. 7 walks, 17 hits, 24 base runners. There's a lot of opportunity here for the Indians.
Most runs they have scored in a game this year. We're in the bottom of the 7th. Claiborne battling with 2 outs in his 2-1 pitch. A little bit tight. A lot of favorable counts for the Indians tonight as well. Grady checks second. And this ball hit hard out to left field. Mazzara got turned around. It won't matter. It's off the fence and very high off that fence. To second is Zimmer. 4th double in the inning. 15-9 Cleveland.
See a fastball here and a nice approach by Bradley Zimmer. We mentioned it earlier with him going the other way, taking the ball up the middle against Cole Hamels, and you see the reaction there from Preston Claiborne, who's been waiting, working hard, and thinking about trying to get himself back to the big leagues over these last couple of seasons. No time. I say service time in 2015, 2016 was pitching great in AAA, and you work and you grind and you try to get yourself back. And unfortunately, so far for him, it has been 4 doubles to go along with a pair of strikeouts.
So I was going down this road a little bit earlier that there are games where it seems like you could bring in Christy Matheson, Walter Johnson. I mean, it doesn't matter. A team is just so locked in or whatever. There's just an energy in the ballpark. It seems like we've hit that night tonight. And as a reliever, I'm sure probably feels that way out of the bullpen, like, oh gosh, don't call my name.
Yeah.
This one is low for a ball to Lindor.
You do have those. Now, usually those games you get that feel a little bit more when you're down the entire time. It's one thing when you've had the lead, and even though it's been ugly and the Cleveland Indians have scored in every single inning outside of the 2nd. But it's a little bit different feel when at least you had the lead at one point. And you're right. You're seeing what's going on. Everything's falling in. These guys are swinging the bats well. And maybe you're not exactly thrilled when that phone rings and it's your name, but at the same time, you don't mind being the guy either that comes in and has an opportunity to put a stop to this.
2-0 on Lindor. He's had a good night at the plate. He has driven in a run in each of his last 3 at bats. 2 for 4. Drove in a run on a ground out in the 4th inning as well. Scored a run in the 1st inning after he had walked. That one fouled out of play. It's 2 balls and a strike on Lindor. Well, a good Indians team. They came in 39 and 35 off a very disappointing weekend in which they were swept by the Minnesota Twins here in their home ballpark. And in doing so, fell a half game out of first place. Taking out some frustrations tonight. 2-1 pitch, and this one is popped up out of the left field. Mazzara coming in. He will get there. And the inning is done. But 3 more for the Indians. And they have taken a commanding 15-9 lead. yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by AT&T Internet. Visit AT&T.com/keepcalm to learn more. In Cleveland, where the Indians have opened up a lead. This was a ball game that the Rangers led 9-4.
9-2.
9-2. Yeah, 9-2 for crying out loud. Thank you. I knew you'd correct me on the score.
Never got one wrong.
Since then, it has been all Indians. My goodness. As we now go to the 8th inning, and Cody Allen is on for Cleveland.
Yeah, Cody Allen usually not pitching in these situations, but he's only pitched once since June 18th. So Brad Mills feeling comfortable using him in this spot. You see the numbers there, and this is another one of the really good arms that comes out of this Indians bullpen. Allen's got a fastball, averages 95 miles an hour, but it's a really good curveball. I mentioned it in the open. We talked about this Cleveland Indians bullpen, and not only is it good arms, but it's different looks, power arms with different looks. So the cutters that you saw from Shaw, and Andrew Miller's got the big fastball, the slider, lefty, that lower arm angle, and then from Cody Allen, who usually serves as their closer, it's all about the fastball and the curveball.
Well, you see the bullpen ERA this year, a little over 2.5, and that is significantly lower than the Dodgers, Red Sox, and anybody else that would be at the very least close. As we get after it here in the 8th inning, Carlos Gomez leading it off, then Jonathan Lucroy and Mike Napoli.
And it's not just that they have a good bullpen here, and they do in Cleveland, but when they're healthy, they have a very good starting rotation as well. They go 1 through 5, and it's pretty impressive here in Cleveland. That's what carried them last year, along with the bullpen, even though they lost a couple of those guys down the stretch, and Danny Salazar and Carlos Carrasco. And Corey Kluber did some pretty heroic things last postseason, but when they're healthy, this is a pretty complete pitching staff.
One and two to Gomez, who, despite the great power numbers that he has piled up since coming back off the disabled list, he stays alive. He's actually, lately here, the hits, at least in terms of overall numbers, haven't exactly piled up for him. He had the home run in New York, 1 for 11 though in that series. Hitless so far in this one today, and the count stays a ball and 2 strikes. He did walk his last time up. Rangers scored early and did so in rather large fashion. 4 runs in the first. They had 3 more in the second inning. It looked like they were off to the races. The 1-2. Gomez fights off another one. Interesting. A lot of high heat so far to Carlos.
Well, a lot of times when you talk about the good curveball pitchers, and Cody Allen is one of them, and you have the good enough fastball, and he does, it averages 95 miles an hour, you can elevate. As these hitters know, Carlos knows that curveball is there sitting in the back of his mind, and there it is right there. And it's coming out of the same slot. And when you have good tight rotation, it's hard to pick up on those pitches. You get a lot of chases out of the zone as well when you elevate the fastball, when you got the big breaking ball. Very similar to Keone Keller. We're watching him pitch, good fastball, big breaking ball. He's better off elevating that fastball more often than not than keeping it down.
Allen's 1-2. And he finally gets it past him. Gomez strikes out to start the 8th. Well, join Positive Coaching Alliance on Tuesday, June 27th for their Putt Putt for PCA fundraising event presented by Insperity. If you believe in a positive character building experience for youth and high school athletes, join PCA on the 27th and help create better athletes and better people across North Texas. Just go to PCANorthTexas.org to learn more. That is tomorrow. Nice when you're reading a promo about positive role models, etc., that you hear a chorus of boos in the background. Jonathan Lucroy, he's heard plenty of those tonight. 0 for 3. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike on Lucroy.
I mean, they're painting him like he's some kind of villain that did this city. That's craziness.
Allen comes with some heat. 1 and 2. Well, a 9-2 lead has given way to 13 unanswered runs by the Indians. And now their very good bullpen is on, and they're a handful as it goes to 2 and 2 on Lucroy. Carlos Carrasco went 3 1/3. He just didn't have it tonight. Rangers got 8 runs on 6 hits against him, although he struck out 7 in his 3 1/3. Lucroy chases strike 3, and there are 2 gone in the 8th.
Well, fans, don't forget this and don't miss this. Saturday, July 8th, the Rangers will be playing the Angels at 8 o'clock, and we're going retro for Turn Back the Clock night. The first 15,000 fans, 14 and older, get a Mike Napoli powder blue replica jersey. That'll be courtesy of Fox Sports Southwest and Southwest Airlines. Tickets are available at TexasRangers.com.
So 2 gone. Here's Mike Napoli. You go from Lucroy, who they like to boo and jeer here for turning down the trade last year to Cleveland, to Mike Napoli, a guy who they revere in this town. And a bender in there for a strike. It's 0-2.
You get to experience all the emotions tonight here.
Man.
If you're at the ballpark, first the sadness of being down early, 9-2, maybe some of the excitement. Leading 15-9, then you get the boo. Jonathan Lucroy cheer for Mike Napoli.
And there's a strikeout. Allen strikes out the side in order in the 8th. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th inning in Cleveland. This one all Indians.
It's been a very strange game, but contributions from a number of Rangers tonight, including Adrian Beltre, with one of this team's 4 home runs early on in the game. State Farm winning combination, getting Adrian back in that lineup, and also the residual effects of what he has on his teammates. I saw him in the dugout today before batting practice, talking with Mike Napoli about what he can do to get out of the slump that he's in, try to improve his game as well, guys.
Well, thanks, Emily. Jason Kipnis starting the 8th inning with a base hit into right field off Claiborne. 15-9. It just seems like the lead man continues to get on.
Yeah, Kipnis was the only Indians hitter in this lineup who did not have a hit tonight, so he now joins the party. He's actually still the only one in this lineup that doesn't have at least 2 hits.
Well, the lead man is on. And now Ramirez, he takes a strike. Delano DeShields is coming to play center field. Pete Cosma takes over at third. So Beltre and Gomez getting off their feet and out of this rain. One and one to Ramirez. Ramirez has gone single, 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 walk. Fielder's choice. He scored 3 times. Pop up, shallow center to Shields coming on, and there is 1 out in this 8th inning. And here comes Edwin Encarnacion. So the opening game of a 4-game series here in Cleveland. This is the middle series, the middle stop in a 3-city trip for the Rangers. They took 2 out of 3 in New York against the Yankees. And despite what has been a frustrating finish to this game, at least to this point, the Rangers will have a chance to get back after it tomorrow. Tyson Ross and Mike Clevenger will be our pitching matchup tomorrow. Of course, Yu Darvish will start here on Wednesday, and we're still waiting for an official announcement for a Thursday afternoon starter. Strike to Encarnacion makes it 1-1. A couple more night games than the day game. The early start on Thursday.
So the speculation for Thursday would be whether or not
Cashner. A little bouncer back up the middle. Odor with the underhand to second for 1. The relay to first. Double play. And the inning is over just like that. We'll go to the 9th. Last chance for the Rangers. We need a miracle. And into the 9th inning we go. Nick Goody.
I thought you were going to say, oh, goody. That's what I thought.
I should have said, oh, goody. You're right. You caught me. Dadgummit.
Just because it's a long game, you got to stay sharp.
Yeah, you're right. My bad.
See the numbers there. He's actually done a very nice job here much as we talk about the Indians bullpen and the big names, Cody's done a very nice job. Whip under 1. How about this? Right down the middle. 50% fastballs that average 92 miles an hour. 50% sliders. So it's 50-50. You eat that cookie? It's been sitting there for a while.
I'm interested to see how long it's going to last.
Oh.
Gallo takes one high. Joey hit a home run in the 4th inning. I was going to see his 20th of the year. They're still a good ways away from the figurative first half. After this road trip, 6 home games remaining before we go to the All-Star break. And Gallo has already put up some pretty massive numbers with the 20 home runs, 40 RBIs. Low batting average. The on-base percentage recently has dipped, but it is held near 300 for the better part of this first half. 2-0. Takes a good rip at that one.
I wonder why we don't have the All-Star game after 81 games. So we could actually legitimately call it the first half. Would be nice.
Doesn't seem like it'd be that hard to engineer.
No, I mean, it's always during the week for whatever, think about the series and how everything works, but it's kind of bothering me.
Well, yeah, you're kind of particular about certain things, I understand, but do you think by shading it just a little bit more to the back end, it does everybody a little bit of a favor? Because you're really huffing and puffing when you get toward the end of the season. And so if you had the break earlier, it might just make it that much harder.
I mean, it ends up being what, around 88 games, somewhere in that
right
range,
in that range,
usually.
yeah. Strike to Gallo, and it's a full count. Nick Goody is the 5th reliever, 6th pitcher overall tonight for Cleveland. And he just walked Joey Gallo, so the lead man on in the 9th inning, and that's how all great 9th inning rallies start.
Give Joey Gallo some credit. You have a game like this, and it's easy to get down by 6 runs into the 9th inning, and kind of a deflating situation the way that the Rangers got here. And sometimes a younger player, and even a veteran for that matter, will give away an at-bat, get a little bit over anxious, go hacking, but Joey Gallo continues to work on the plate discipline, not chasing out of the zone. Made some big improvements this year.
That's the first Rangers base runner since Napoli led off the 6th inning with a base hit. And Chu takes a strike from Nick Goody. Chu was on his first 2 times up today, doubled in the first, walked in the second, scored on both of those occasions, but he struck out twice since. And the count 0-2. I gave you one of those weird stats earlier today when the Cleveland Indians had trailed after just 2 innings at home this year. They were 1-13. They were down 7-1 after 2 innings in tonight's game. You figure, well, that's going to be 1-14 for the Cleveland Indians, but they have come storming back at one point down 9-2. And figured things out in a hurry. Their starter, Carlos Carrasco, went 3 1/3. The Rangers starter, Cole Hamels, went 4 1/3. And Chu watches strike 3. He knew it.
You don't see it too often from Shin-Soo Choo with 3 strikeouts for him in this game after leading off the game with a double and a walk. And just kind of give you an idea of really how this game has gone. Early on, the Rangers come out swinging the bats. It's been now, what, 13 unanswered runs.
Pretty amazing. Elvis Andrus, a couple of home runs by the 4th inning of today's game, giving him a career high 9 homers now, surpassing last year's 8, his previous career high. Good as one strike pitch. And he finds the corner. Where did he go? They wanted an appeal? No. So 2-2 on Andrus, who does hit pretty well in this ballpark. You can take that and make that safely now in what, 32 of 33 games with today.
That's updated.
Right, that's what I mean. It's updated to 31 of 32 games.
I like how you're looking ahead, counting on a hit for tomorrow.
The 1-2. Bouncer up the middle, base hit. So 2 men on. Andrus with a 3-hit game. Why not?
It's the first hit for the Rangers since Mike Napoli single back in the 6th inning. And the offense has gone very quiet, but we've talked about the comfort level here of Elvis Andrus, and it's not slowed down. 3 hits for him tonight, a couple home runs, walk.
All right, now Nomar Mazara. Nomar doubled his first time up. Couple of ground outs today, strikeout. Right over center field. A row of like evergreen trees, and then back of that an elevated section with more really big evergreen trees here. That was strike one. See those trees now, the right edge of those trees, and that very big one. Nomar went right over the top of that bad boy last year.
That is a bomb.
Unofficially 700 feet.
Even. I would have had it at 705.
It was that's what I had it for. I think it ended up being like 491. I thought it was like 700. Seemed like it. 1 strike pitch. And it's 1-1. That's the thing about Nomar, 10 home runs this year already. 20 last year as a rookie. And while we talk a lot about Joey Gallo and his big power, Nomar doesn't hit a lot of cheapies. He's got some of that stop what you're doing and watch power as well. The 1-1. This one out to center field. Hangs up there for Zimmer. 2 away. All right, now Pete Kozma, who would come in defensively last inning. His first at bat of the night.
You got on them playing the final countdown as Pete Kozma's coming up. Take that as a little bit of an insult. Europe.
May he use that as motivation? Yeah, Europe, exactly.
Saw them in concert once. They opened up for Def Leppard at the Orange County Fairgrounds.
Wow.
Games like this, you're going to learn a lot about me.
Man alive. That was some show, I'm sure. Kozma takes ball 1. Who were you going to see that night?
My sister had an extra ticket. That's why I went. I have an older sister. A few years older. I was only like maybe 7th or 8th grade.
She took her brother?
Well, she had an extra ticket. I think my mom made her take me. My mom wanted me out of the house.
1-0. And now it's 1-1 on Kozma. He hasn't had a whole lot of opportunities at the plate. Kozma, in fact, it's just his 26th at bat with the Rangers. He had some time with the Yankees earlier this year as well. Rangers need base runners, down by 6 in the 9th inning. And Nick Goody steps off the rubber. Gallo at second, Andrus at first. And a swing and a miss. Rangers are down to their final strike tonight. Boy, it is just almost impossible to imagine that we're at this point, but it is what it is. Now that's such a commanding start in this one. Ahead 9-2. Good, he has his signs. And Cosmo bloops it foul to stay alive, and we'll see at least one more pitch. Well, this was a night where we were anticipating the return of Cole Hamels, and how would he fare on the mound? He got a lot of run support early, went 4 1/3 innings. But the 5th inning just had a tough time. A couple of bad breaks. Infield hit, that sort of thing that caused him to lead the game early. And then things continued to get away from the Rangers as Cosmo stays alive.
And all that has gone on here for this Indians offense, and we keep talking about the contact of the swing and miss rate, second best in baseball. He struck out 3 times tonight. 3 strikeouts for this Indians offense to go with their 7 walks and 19 base hits, and that wasn't until Preston Claiborne came in and struck out 2. They only had 1 strikeout through the first 6 innings.
Rangers, meanwhile, have struck out 16 times so far in tonight's game. The 1-2 pitch, and that one is low. 2-2. We said it earlier in the 4th inning. You just hoped that the Rangers would continue to tack on runs. They got a couple of solo home runs in that 4th inning. Well, since then, it got really quiet really fast, and the 2-2 fouled away. 17,672 fans on a Monday night here in Cleveland. A lot of them have moved for cover during the late innings of this one when we saw a little bit of rain. Brad Mills has largely led this game from the dugout for the Indians. We got news, I don't know, about 2nd or 3rd inning. Terry Francona was done for the night. He wasn't feeling well.
We saw that 7-1 score. Probably feeling a little bit better now.
Goody strikes out Cosmo, and that will do it tonight. A frustrating, very disappointing loss for the Rangers in the opener here in Cleveland. 15-9, our final score. Dana Larson, Mike Bassett, and David Murphy. They will have your coverage of the postgame show. We're going to talk a lot about Cole Hamels' return to the rotation, give you the player reactions and analysis from this one tonight. For CJ Nikowski, Emily Jones, and our entire crew, this is Dave Raymond inviting you to stay with us as our coverage will continue right after this.